Good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. This morning, I hear noise in the back in the kitchen. Morning, Nicole.
Morning.
Good morning, Desiree.
Good morning.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I just emailed out. Tracy had asked for a few more forms to be sent out, so I just sent them y'all's way. So without further ado, I'm going to kind of hand it over to you, Tracy. Let me know if you need anything. But so Tracy Castell is probably one of the best people you can learn how to run a successful open house from. So, and I'm not just tooting his own horn or his horn, or I don't know how that phrase goes. But anyways, he's a great resource. I don't want to offer it up. However, if I know he'll probably talk about it, but if you guys are really uncomfortable with holding an open house, I'm sure you and Tracy could schedule time to kind of shadow him in his expertise. So sorry, Tracy.
All right.
But without further ado, Tracy Castell.
Good morning, Heather. Good morning, everybody. So let's.
Tracy, we can't hear you, or I can't hear you.
Oh, can everybody hear me? Steve, you can hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, everybody else hears me? All right, it's just Kayla.
Leave it to me. It's fine. I'm working now. It was just a fluke.
Oh, okay. So real quick question for everybody. I'm going to introduce myself, let you know what I'm all about, but I'd like to know a little bit about you guys. So who wants to go first? Who wants to tell me how long they've been in the industry? Have you done open houses before? Give me a little bit of history here. I'm going to take some notes. Nicole, go for it. Oh, go ahead, Jacob. Sorry.
Unless you can go. Okay, so.
Oh.
Sorry.
Jacob, you go.
Okay, I'm Jacob. I've been a realtor for about like 2 months now, month and a half. I've done 2 open houses. What else do you want me to say about myself?
Nope, I just want to know your history and that type of experience and all that good stuff. So how'd those open houses go?
One was in Red Rocks, only 2 people showed up. The other one was like way past Vail and only 2 people showed up. So
okay, are you on a team or are you an individual agent?
Individual.
All right. Nicole.
Hi, I'm Nicole Sanchez, and I've been an agent for almost a month.
Okay.
And what else? Okay, so
You've done an open house?
I have not done one. I went to one in my neighborhood, and I just jumped on the agent because it was Keller Williams, and I asked her to teach me everything she could in the like 15 minutes that was left of the open house. She was so nice. And she let me like practice the Supra, so that was really nice.
Okay.
And into another house that was like 2 houses down and stuff. So I learned a lot from her in 15 minutes, but that's all I've done.
So it almost sounds like you're a hands-on learner.
I am a hands-on learner, and there's a lot to learn, and a lot gets thrown at you. So I like to do it, get it done, learn it.
Okay, perfect. How about you, Steve?
Really new, about a month or so into it. I haven't did any open houses yet. It's on my high checklist to start very soon. I'm still waiting to get my Supra and TAR and MLS and stuff like that. So I haven't got it.
You got it. All right, cool. Desiree.
I'm Desiree Brown. Steven's my husband. We're a team. I started a little bit beforehand, so about a month in now. Just
Okay.
getting set up. Haven't done any open houses. Like you said, that's high on our checklist right now. We've just been doing some calls and trying to get that family and friends sphere going. Had a few leads with that too. So just here to learn how to do these open houses. We're excited about that.
Cool. Yeah, you're gonna. I hope that you'll see the success that I've had in open houses and how I do them, and you guys can take away from that. And please steal my ideas. There's, it's what do they call it?
Excellent.
Rip off and duplicate.
Yeah.
Yes, please do it. All right, Heather.
I'm also a new agent. I think I've had my license about a month now, a little over a month.
Okay.
Yeah, a little over a month. I haven't done any open houses. I've gone to a few that one of my friends was holding. She's with Tierra Antigua. But that was in the summer, so it's been a while for that
Okay.
too.
All right, cool. I'll ask everybody who's shadowed somebody their experience with those, because I want to know what they're doing and versus what I'm doing. So next on the list, Victoria. She jumped off. Lethea, how do you say that?
It's Letha.
Letha, okay.
There you go. So I've been a real estate agent for a year and a half, and I've only been with Keller Williams since the 6th of December. So,
Okay.
you know, a couple weeks. I've never done an open house. My former broker didn't encourage it. In fact, I was kind of put in a sink or swim situation. So I
Okay.
came here for education purposes. That being said, I did go and help out Tanya Reddish with her open house here, and kind of watched what she did, and the little gift bags she gave out, and the little things that she had, and I can really see the benefit of an open house.
Perfect. All right. Sarah, I know we've talked a little bit. So give me a little bit of history. How long you've been an agent? Have you done any open houses? Have you attended?
Yeah, so I have done a couple of open houses, and actually it's one of the lead generating things that intrigues me very, very much. I'm a people person. It's much better, easier for me to talk to you in real life than it is on the phone or anything else. So I'm very, I want to take all of your knowledge and just I'll take it all.
Rip off and duplicate.
Yes, I'll rip it all off, please. I have been in real estate as a general contractor / flipping business several years ago. So I do have that. But as far as an agent, I'm brand new. I'm a couple months in, and really trying to get everything I can right now. So
Cool. You got it. Christian, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, Christian, talk to me. Give me your experience. How long you been in?
I've sold my own properties before. I've never done one as a realtor. This weekend, I'm listing 2 of my own homes side by side. They're tenant occupied. So what I'm going to do, if the weather's decent, is I have a company called Kona Ice. So I'm going to have the Kona Ice truck there with the sign on the side, say, if you list or buy through me, I'll give you this truck for free, kind of thing. And I'm going to put signs out on Speedway and Alvernon, directing people in to see the property. And hopefully, I'll be out there to talk to them at least, and then we can set appointments to view the houses when I can get tenant approval. So,
Gotcha. Cool. And how long have you been an agent?
Just about a month now.
Okay. So you're brand new. Walter?
Yeah.
Oh, Walter jumped off. Jennifer, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
All right. So talk to me.
So I have been a licensed realtor for about a month, and
Okay.
I have heard nothing but good things about you. Everyone I talk to is like, go see Tracy. Find out where he's having his open houses and just bombard him. He's got tables. He's got these cute little questionnaire things he does. Go find him. So as soon as I saw that you were doing open house, I'm like, all right, I'm on it.
All right. Well, hopefully I'll open your eyes on open house and all that stuff. I'm actually going to show you my numbers. I'm an open book, so you can ask me anything. So I will share everything I have. Victoria.
Number?
Yeah. Everybody ready? Here it comes. 520-239-6728.
Thank you.
Again, that's 520-239-6728. All right, Victoria. Oh, Jennifer.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I'm sorry, I'm driving.
That's all right.
So
Yeah,
oh gosh, I hope you can't see my face. I look terrible right now. So I have been doing real estate for 7 years, and the last 2 years I've been in a team, and so I was like I started as a buyer agent, and then I ended up doing both, listing and buying. And I feel I've gotten to the point where I want to be independent. So this is why I'm going through Ignite, just to kind of just go through the whole thing. And it's since even though I've been doing it for a while, it's just I like pick up new things, and it's good, And I actually been thinking about different ways to make my my open houses a little bit more exciting and unique.
Okay, so how many open houses a year do you do?
Oh gosh, I at least try to do two. Well, for sure one a week, but sometimes, like right now, I'm doing two. But when I first started, I would do three.
Okay.
But I really love them, and it's one of my favorite things because I love to talk to people like one-on-one, and yeah, you can really meet a lot of people. And like last week, I had an open house, and I met I was so busy, like 15 or 20 people, and it's just like a good opportunity. And I was very lucky to go into a team where they really showed me how to do the open house really well. And like I said, but I'm excited to see everybody's got, a different technique, and I'm looking forward to your technique. And like I said, now that I'm going to be on my own, I've been thinking about different ways to kind of, so people remember me. So I'm excited about this.
All right.
Did I talk too much?
No, that's all right. All right, perfect. Hey, good morning, Jason. I know Jason's been Jason's been through this before. He just got licensed, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, and he's heard this seminar or this class before, and he's back. He wants more. He wants more abuse.
Yes, I just watched your last month's video. I was like, he's amazing. I got to watch this again.
All right, so hopefully you'll pick up some more tidbits and stuff that come through this. So a little bit about myself. I have been a licensed realtor for 5 years now. I have not done real estate for 5 years. I've only done real estate full-time for 2. My first year was, I started in November of 2008, 17, yeah, 18. And so my first year was last year, full year. I capped barely, but I hit my numbers. That was my goal, is to cap and hit my numbers. This year, I will hit my numbers. My gross GCI this year will be $172,000, and I will show you how much money I generated off open houses. So right now, just a quick preview of of things to come. That is my number one lead generation source, and it's the most profitable for me. And I'll show you why and how I do it and the tactics. And it's both seller leads and buyer leads. I do something a little bit different with my open houses. I do not concentrate on buyers. I concentrate on listings. And I do the things that I do in my open house because I know the neighbors or other people that walk into my open house have been to other folks and they've been to their open houses, and I want them to compare me to all those other agents that they just went through. And I'll show you what I do, and I'm open book. If you want to see anything with regards to my numbers, my accounting, I'll show you. So I'm going to, thanks, Jason. I'm going to get on my soapbox. All the brand new agents, less than a month or less than 6 months, you woke up this morning unemployed. Did you know that? Yeah, everybody's shaking their head. So how are you going to pay your bills next month? Anybody? This is what you have to wake up with every single day that you wake up in real estate. We are business owners first and foremost. Every business out there, and you can think McDonald's, you can think Costco, you can think real estate, you can think everything. Their number one activity every day that they do is lead generation. There is no business out there that cannot operate without lead generation in one form or another, whether it's marketing, prospecting, or whatever the lead gen source is, they have to do it. So wake up every morning with intent to do your lead generation. You've probably heard this time after time after time in Ignite, but I'm here to tell you, and please believe me, I track my numbers every single day. It takes me 10 minutes to enter my numbers into all my systems that I have, and I know without a doubt, I know how many hours I spent on lead generation for open houses. I know how many hours I spent on lead generation for sale by owners, expireds, all those lead mechanisms that I work on. I track all of that. And that goes to another saying, hopefully Big Dan has talked to you about this, but track your numbers, know your numbers. At the end of the day, I know for a fact that I have to make 12 two-way conversations each and every day to hit my goals for 2020. 2021, I have to up that to 18. So, and that's individual folks every day. It's not the same person that I talked to on Monday that I'm just doing some follow-up and getting that information. It's individual folks that are different, and I'm constantly adding to my database, and I'm adding and working those numbers. Please know your numbers. The second thing I'm gonna tell you, if you don't already do it and you don't already have it, get a coach. Get a coach and get accountability. If you don't have those in your businesses, you will fail. Don't make my mistake in my first year, the first 6 to 8 months. So 6 to 8 months in my first year, I didn't have a coach. It was sheer luck that I capped. And I'm to be honest with you, that's sheer luck. After that amount of time, I picked up a coach. I started the coaching program. I used the free coaching at that time. It was Craig Thompson. You guys have Big Dan for your free coaching. So use it, make yourself accountable, and get on board with it. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of you on the call. And I hope you've heard this before. 2 years from now, how many people do you think will be left out of this group? Nicole says 5. Anybody else?
I think it's like 8.
That will be left in the business?
Oh, I know. I think like 3 will be left in the business.
Yep, 2 to 3 of you. And I just went fuzzy. Oh, what's going on with my camera? Sorry about that. I'll turn off, turn back on. Hello. But that's a national statistic. 20% 2 years from now are going to be in the business. And why did they fail? Because they didn't do those things I'm talking about. Track your numbers, do your daily lead gen activities, get a coach. Everybody that's in the business 2 to 3 years down the road, they all have those 3 things that they do every single day. I meet with my coach every day. I talk to them. I'm on a 15-minute, that's where I was doing at 8:45. There's all kinds of coaching programs that you can get. Please do it. That's all I got. Because I want everyone, I want to see 11 faces, all these same 11 faces 2 years from now, because I'm still going to be in it. I can guarantee you that. All right. Let me grab, I thought I was prepared, and I was thinking as I was talking here on my soapbox that I was prepared, and I didn't have the program up and running in the background. I had everything else. All right, so let's share. Oops, you guys keep disappearing. Sorry, technology here. Any questions so far? All right, can everybody see my screen? Anybody can't see my screen? That's probably the proper question. All silent. Cool. So lead generation, that's what we're going to be talking about. Lead generation specifically with open houses and how I do it and how others do it. This is that run the business. It's exactly what I was talking about. We are business owners first and foremost. We're not real estate agents. So run your business. Make sure you're doing your things in your business. So how, I gave you a clue earlier in my opening dialogue, I guess, is do you hold open houses to sell a house? Anybody?
You hold open houses to gain leads.
Exactly.
Yep. So is there a possibility that someone will walk in that house unrepresented that will buy the house from you?
Yes.
Yeah. Does anybody know that statistic?
No.
I think it's like 3 to 5% that come in. Is that right?
Nope. It's a lot lower than that. It's like less than 1% that someone is going to walk into your open house completely unrepresented from an agent and goes, oh my God, I love the house. I'm pre-qualified, or I have cash in the bank and I want to buy it. But it does happen. I know agents that it's happened to. It's never happened to me, but be prepared for that. That's your first thing that you need to write down is what will you do if someone walks in the house and says, I want to write an offer on this house right now. What are you going to do? I can tell you what I do. What's that? That's right.
Pull out the offer contract. Have it ready.
That's exactly right. I have complete all the documentation to sell any house I'm holding open, and that's so. What's besides the contract? What other piece of paper that you have to do it?
Dual agency.
Victoria, excellent. A dual agency, because you are holding open in a Keller Williams house, whether it's your listing or not. You're in a Keller Williams house, so you have to have that dual agency. And then if there's an HOA addendum, you've got to have that printed. You've got to have all the documentation ready to go for them. And you can handwrite. I've gotten on my listings handwritten offers from agents where they actually hand wrote it all up instead of done it in the dot loop or whatever system that they happen to be using. So make sure you're prepared for that occurrence to happen, because it does. And what you don't want to do is say, oh, let me meet with you later and we'll get together and then we'll write the offer. So, one other thing about me and my wife, we rescue for Arizona Border Collie Rescue. If you haven't seen my picture already, my business picture has me and 2 dogs. Well, that's 2 of 8 that we have in the house. We don't have any fosters right now, but we have 8 dogs in the house. So if you hear barking for some reason in the background while I'm doing this presentation, or if you see me look down at somebody just brought me a toy to throw for her. So that's the slight distraction. So I apologize for that up front. We are there, Jacob said it, we are there to pick up leads. What kind of leads are we picking up?
All leads.
All leads, that's right. Buyers and sellers. I told you earlier, I concentrate on listings, and because buyers, you will naturally pick up. Everybody, there's some common thoughts from real estate agents when they get in the business, when they're doing open houses, that I'm there to pick up buyer leads. You will get those. That's a default. There's people, the reason they're coming in is to see the house for some reason, because they're in the buying mood, right? That's why they're there. But the neighbors are coming over to see, A, what does their house look like compared to this, and B, what's this price? And that's why I do open houses. I don't want buyers. I want listings. Because what everybody has, I'm hoping, and you see that book is real handy to me. And I've spiral bound it because it lays open flat on my desk when I'm planning my business. If you haven't read this book, please read it. It's backwards in the thing, right? Yeah, there you go, Nicole. I see. So there are 3 things in there that we do every single day. And so not every single day, but there's 3 legs of our business. What are they? Do we know? Anybody?
Lead generation.
Leads, listings, and leverage.
That's exactly right. So in open houses, I'm hitting 2 of those 3 every day. I've taken on the 3rd one by hiring a transaction coordinator when I got so busy I didn't want to do my paperwork anymore. So that's the only reason I was able to do $172,000 last year or this year. So
is that after?
Excuse me?
Is that after taxes?
No, I'll show you my numbers if you want to see it. When we come from a break or go on a break, you can ask me. I'll pull it all up. I have it always running on my computer. I'll show you my accounting. That's gross GCI. So I'm hitting in an open house those 2 listings and lead generation in open houses. I'm very intentional about it. So let's do. All right, open houses in general are the most cost-effective lead generation that you do. You can do an open house at absolutely no cost except for printing paper. That's the basics. Literally, you can call somebody, call a listing agent, say, hey, I want to hold the house open, to get the permission to do it. Go out there, and you don't even have to have signs. You can go out there, have an open house, have some brochures or some handouts, and stand there in the open house and do it. And it doesn't cost you except for your time and your paperwork that you generated to hand out. That's the basics, or the very bottom level 0, if you want to call it, of doing an open house. You can ramp it up by adding signs and tables and the kinds of stuff that I've done. But once you pay for that, it's all paid for and it's done, and you move on. So I'll show you a little bit how much I make in an open house on an hourly basis, and it'll really, hopefully it'll open some eyes. So it's your highest investment on your ROI, on a return on investment. And hopefully everybody knows that by now. If not, because you're not paying for leads, you're not calling people and trying to get a list and doing all that business, because that does cost you money. All right. And I have notes, so I don't want to make sure I'm covering everything. 3 things in open house: you got to prepare, then you'll prospect, and then you'll pursue. So preparation, you guys are doing that right now. We're going to talk about mindset and and that's the whole purpose of this class, is to get your mindset in the proper place where, hey, I can do this and it's easy to do, and you overcome any fears or any blocks that you have, that you say, you know what, I've been in the business, or I'm scared to do it. So let me ask you, the new agents, Steve, Jacob, Desiree, Heather, or any of you that are a couple months in that haven't done an open house, why haven't you done one yet?
I'd like to say it's because I haven't finished all my super and stuff like that, but in reality, that's.
So what's holding it, Steve? If you had your super stuff, you can go get your super stuff, this week, right?
Yeah, once I figure out how.
All right, I'll tell you, call TAR, schedule the appointment, go down there and get it done.
You don't even have to schedule it. You can just go.
Okay, yeah, because I just signed up for TAR yesterday.
Okay.
It's Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. You just go to TAR.
Okay, so Steve, I'm challenging you. So if you had it now, would you go do an open house? Would you call an agent and say, hey, I want to do an open house on your listing?
Yeah, I can ask you a question about that then. Recommendations on, do people do open houses on the weekdays, or do they only do open houses on the weekend? Are weekdays better in the afternoon since people aren't working?
Okay, so open house times, and I've done it all. I've done it through the whole week. I've done it on the weekends. So my experience with that, when you hold it during the week, you don't get as much traffic, but you get serious traffic. So meaning the people that show up at your open house during the week, they are real buyers. They've taken time in their work week to come see this open house.
Have you noticed better numbers in the afternoon than during the work hours?
When I do it and this is me, because again, what's my number one business function? Lead generation. I do that in the mornings between 9 and 12. So I do my open houses in the afternoon. I don't during the week. Now on the weekends, that's a whole different thing. I don't lead gen. I don't have set times on the weekends. I'm not lead gen 7 days a week.
And I have another question for you. Say I call an agent and ask them to do an open house. Technically their house is on the market. I can ask them, if I say I had a lot of free time this week, I could technically go do it once a day if I wanted to, correct?
That's exactly, it depends, owner occupied or vacant, those types of things. But if it's vacant, then say, yeah, hey, can I hold there's a challenge. You'll hear Aaron Wilson throw it out there every once in a while. If you don't know who Aaron is, he runs Team Integrity and he does our stats class. Attend that class. You got to know the numbers, okay? But he will throw a challenge out there that says, hey, look, go find a vacant house, and do work from there 8 hours a day. That's one of the things when he started in the business that he did. So he actually had his computer, he was making phone calls and doing his work at an open house.
That's pretty smart. It's always easier to do it that way when you're pacing around and you're already in a business mindset.
That's exactly right. And the only thing you got to be careful on is, are you going to be on the phone trying to lead generate when someone walks in? So you got to be able to jump off that.
You get off the phone and you call them back.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a challenge. So I've done that. I've done an open house a full week. It was 6 hours because I have dogs to take care of and other stuff that I had to do. I couldn't do it 8, but yeah, I've done that before, and I picked up good leads off of it. So absolutely do that. So anybody else does anybody, and please be honest with me so I can help you. Who's scared to do an open house? Nicole, I see Nicole.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I'm literally learning minute by minute all this stuff, like exactly what to do. And so there's a vacant house on my street.
Okay.
And I have the phone number of the team, and it's Keller Williams.
Okay,
and
good.
So I thought I took the picture, and I actually tried to text it, but nobody answered. So I need to call them and ask them if I could do an open house for them, because that house has been sitting there. I don't know what's going on.
Is it active?
Okay, so I didn't look it up yet. Yesterday was my first time on MLS to look up an address. So
it may be under contract.
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know, maybe. And why isn't there a sign on there that says under contract on the
I never put a sign. And the reason I do, I want people to call me.
Oh, okay.
I never say sold. I never say under contract. That was a mistake I made when I first became an agent. I bought those little sign writers and I was putting them on. And the minute I put it under contract, nobody called me. I never got a sign call.
Okay.
I stopped that immediately.
You can call someone from a different broker to do an open house?
You can. I have had that call on my listings from somebody from a different brokerage, and I politely declined. We're not here to help other brokerages succeed.
Okay.
And that's my personal belief.
Said that. Okay.
Talk to Lisa, but I'm sure Lisa will tell you the same thing. Who else is scared to do an open house? I have everybody up in front of me now. I just can't see everybody. Heather?
No, it's a reluctance to reach out to agents that I've never met.
Okay.
Get over that.
Get out of your head. Please do it. And I'm going to show you one of my things. Here's what I know right now. Everybody on this call, except for the people that may have Victoria, maybe, and I'm making some mass assumptions here. I think Victoria would be the only one. I will know about a potential open house before you guys. And I will cover that, and I will show you how I beat you guys to the punch. All right, and please write it down, Kayla.
Don't ever be afraid to ask another Keller Williams agent if you can hold their house open.
Ever.
One, because they've literally all been where you guys are. And two, you don't realize how many agents need the help and don't know who to ask either. So don't ever be afraid to ask for help in your business, because even if it's a no for them that time, they're going to remember that you asked. And next week, when something came up and a random teacher conference came up or a kid got sick, whatever, they're going to be like, oh, you know what? Nicole called me last week and offered to do my open house. I'm going to call her back because I need this one held. So don't ever be afraid to call a Keller Williams agent and ask them for an open house.
Is there a directory?
Yeah, it's called the MLS.
I was just going to say MLS. You can go on and you can look at the hot sheet for the morning. And I just emailed an agent right now, actually. Well, probably right before this meeting.
For all the Keller Williams agents.
You can also put it on Facebook. We have an internal Facebook page. If you're wanting an open house, just say who needs a house held open this weekend.
And again,
they might not comment on Facebook, but they'll private message you.
But I will show you my technique of beating you guys to the punch, so I know about open houses before you do. And it's Keller Williams agents. So that's the only way I will do it. So I'm going to give you that. Here's the other thing. I have agents calling me, listing agents calling me saying, Tracy, I want you to hold my house open this weekend. And I will tell you the golden secret to get to that point. And that's really easy. And it's common sense, especially as a listing agent. It's the same thing that I require of you when you go hold my house open. I will tell you, I'll send you an email. Hey, if you're going to hold my house open, this is what I want. And I'll review that with you guys shortly. So let's take a real quick look at some statistics. All right. Come on, click. So everybody sees that this is from 2019, the National Association of Realtors. It's the profile of the home buyers and sellers. If you don't have this guide, it's free. You can download it, go to the NAR website, look for their stats, and download this thing and read it. It will tell you it nationally where you can find buyers and sellers. And it gives you clues on how you can do your marketing and how you can do your prospecting. So I've pulled information from that that document related to open houses for us to review right quick. So first question. So buyers use open, they have this information in the document. Buyers use open houses as a source of information during their search for buying a home. Here's the question. How many buyers used open houses as their first step in the process? Anybody have an idea? Think percentages here.
20.
20%, okay.
I think it's higher than that.
I figure
That's
most
the
people are
first.
Zillow.
All right, Steve says Zillow, or another word for that is, hey, they're using the internet as their first step. Okay, how many think? Who thinks? What's other ways buyers find their homes? Anybody?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
So, how many buyers use open houses as their first step in the process of finding their home? So we're talking about how buyers find their homes.
Well, I think it's a really high percentage, because I've run into that's the first time they go in and they want to get information. So
okay,
I don't know exactly the number, but I think it's a high.
Think about someone makes the decision in their brain that says, hey, you know what, I need to move. We need, COVID hit. Now I can work from home. Now, from now on, I need an office, right? So I need a house that has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a den. And I don't have that now. So they've made that decision in their brain. What's their first step?
Go to Google.
Go to Google, all right? You're exactly right.
That's the first thing I do.
But it's not their first, going to open houses is not their first step. Their first step is going to Google. Only 4% of buyers, it's minuscule, make it their first step in open houses. So why are open houses so successful? Here's the next question. How many buyers during their search go to open houses?
I think that number is higher.
I do too.
Way higher.
Much
51%. 51% of all buyers went to an open house during their search. Now, the question then for us as agents, because this is lead generation, is, hey, how many of those are represented? How many have an agent? Or how many have signed a buyer broker? That's my real question.
Right.
In my mind, how many of those have done that? So we've got to determine that in the open house. Of those that went to open house, 92% found the information was useful or somewhat useful that they ran into. Your goal, my goal at the end of the day, is to make sure that your open houses have information that they find useful. Why?
Because you want them to be a potential client.
It's exactly right. They will see you as value.
Yep.
Bingo. Exactly. That's exactly why. That's why I did it. So let's talk about how buyers find an open house to go to, because this is in those statistics. So of those who went to open houses, what source did they find or use to go, hey, you know what? I want to go look at a house now. I'm in that process, right? More than likely what has happened is the buyer they've done the research on Zillow or wherever, they've started looking at homes, and nationally, I will tell you, they start this process about 6 months in advance. So 6 months out, they've made that decision in their brain. Now they're doing research on the internet, because that's the biggest tool out there that we have, and they read all kinds of articles. Hey, get this, get that. So they're in the point where they're brave enough, and trust me, buyers have to be brave to go physically walk into a house and meet people, because we don't do that in our society anymore. We don't have face-to-face conversations. Everything's on texting, email, etc. So they've made that decision. So they've probably have already gotten pre-qualified. That's a step that you find on the internet all the time. Hey, Zillow says that, hey, get qualified so you can go buy this house, so you know how much you can buy. So they start that process. So when you see a person walk in the open house, more than likely they are further in the process than you think. You guys just got to find that out. So how do they find the open house to go to? Anybody?
Driving the neighborhoods they're interested in, maybe.
Yeah, that is exactly right. We're going to look at the real stats here in just a second. So that's exactly right. So 52% of all buyers use the internet to find an open house. So when we get to the part in the presentation about timing and putting your plan together, your plan on how you're going to do open houses, this is key. And I focused in on this, and the reason I put this for you is one of the things that I do, if I hold an open house on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I make sure that I've made contact with the listing agent, gotten permission on Monday or Tuesday, because I want that listing agent to put it in the open house in MLS on Wednesday. So it's fed to Zillow, Realtor.com, and all that stuff. It's in the MLS and it automatically uploads, because more than likely they're on Zillow or they're on Realtor.com looking for open houses. And you want the MLS to feed that information in enough time for you to advertise properly. That's one of your number one goals, it's planning and getting it out there. So that means 48% of the rest of those found an open house by another means. So what are some of those things? Christian just hit on it. They're driving the neighborhoods, they see your signs. This is a reason to invest in signs. What's another way that they find an open house?
That's all.
Door knocking.
Door knocking. Yep. You've done a door knock, and they have an invitation and they know about the open house, so they swing by. What's another way?
They already have a realtor and they're looking with that realtor.
Yeah, that's exactly right. The realtor is bringing them by, or even better yet, the realtor doesn't have time for them that day or can't meet them, and they send that information to them and say, hey, go swing by the open house and take a look at it. Okay. So here's a key. If this is your listing, right? I hold my own. I do first weekends in my own listings, and there's a reason for that, and we'll cover that. But I do that first weekend myself, and the reason is I want to see those serious buyers that their agents are sending them into my open house, because that may be an offer that I'm going to be seeing. So think about that when you got a listing, because those people are serious about it and their agent has sent them in. So you want to sell that. Now you are selling the house to that person when they're walking in, even though they're represented, because it's your listing. So signs, realtors have said, hey, go see it. You've done door knocking, you've sent out invitations. You can do flyers, you mail flyers, hey, open house. What's email blast to agents saying, hey, there's an open house this weekend at this, etc. You can work your database, send all those emails out, tell your friends and family, swing by, all that good stuff. Facebook, social media. It's another mechanism that they're using it. Another one that I advertise on, Craigslist. I track these in my open houses. I ask those people when they come in, so I know where to advertise my open houses. Craigslist, they believe it or not, it works. So I've had really good success with it. So the ultimate goal is to get a client. So how do buyers find their agents? Anybody?
It's usually who they know.
It's who they know.
References.
Reference. There you go. Referrals. That's exactly right. That is the #1 goal. So where do open houses rank, do you think, in all the ways that people find their agents? Where do you think nationally it comes in at?
Very bottom.
The very no, not the very bottom. I can tell you that.
50%.
Huh?
50% or less.
50% or less. I'll buy that. So here's the stats, the real stats. 41% of all buyers have been referred by a friend or neighbor, or 12% here. Okay, now here's something that hopefully will ring true to you. Used an agent previously that they used their other agent, the same agent that's kept in touch with them over the years. So let me drill this into you, and hopefully everybody's heard this before. And it's the reason we talk about staying in touch. It's a contact sport with our clients because they will return to you. Over 87% of people who have done a transaction, whether it's buying, selling, say that they love their agent and they will use them again. So why is this statistic only 12%?
Because they don't keep in contact.
That's exactly right, Steve. The agent fails to stay in touch with their clients. And I'm not talking about just sending them an email or text message every once in a while. I'm talking about making phone calls and catching up and seeing how they're doing. That's the #1 method. People, and I can guarantee you, my clients know who I am, and I talk to them every single quarter. I pick up the phone and I'm having a conversation with them, or I drop by and I see them. So
is that the easy part that we're talking about here?
yes, my whole goal at the end of all this, for me personally, is to have a referral business.
Right. I mean, the part about getting a client first, a buyer, seller, that's the hard part, right? The first time.
It's not hard.
Second, third, or the referrals.
Okay, so let's change your mindset. It's not hard to get clients. This is why I told you at the very beginning, track your numbers. I know without a doubt that if I make 18 next year, all right, I'll tell you my goal for next year. If I make 18 two-way conversations 5 days a week with 18 different people every day, I will gross $300,000. This year, to hit the 172, I had to make at least 10 two-way conversations every day. I hit 9.8 as my average every day, and I hit my goal. It's easy to do. Know your numbers, pick up the phone, make the contact. I can't boil it down any easier than that. If you want to be successful, you've got to have two-way conversations with people. And yes, text messaging does help. Messenger does help, but the best one is a phone call, because you can hear tone, inflection, etc. It's easy to get clients. I promise you. And I want you all to succeed. It will work. Trust me. Don't make the same mistakes I did. Use it. Do it. Open houses are highlighted down here. 5% of all buyers found their agent at an open house. Okay. It seems like a small number, but think about what I said earlier, and they're further along in the process. So averages, right? We talk about national averages and stuff and things that we track. I know that 1 out of 6 people that come through my open house, I will capture as a lead, a real lead, and potentially flip them into a client. 1 out of 6. So yes, you're going to have those folks that are going to come in. No, I don't want to sign your paperwork, or no, I don't have. And I'm going to talk about techniques to get their information. But that they're going to push back hard on you. You know what? You don't want to work with those folks anyway. They're standoffish and they're being a butthead to you, and that's just the easiest way I can say it. If they're being a butthead to you in an open house, you don't want to work with them. Yeah, move on. Tell them, hey, make yourself at home. Be pleasant to them. You never know. I've picked up clients, they were jerks to me. They've actually told me, they walked in the open house, they've been trained, right? Because every open house they walked into, the agent said, do you have an agent? It's like walking on a car lot. Everybody has a script on this phone call, on this, when you walk on, Christian's smiling. I want to hear the script. What do you say to the salesman that walks up to you on a car lot? Christian.
Stay away from me. I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Or I'm just looking.
I'm just looking. Yeah.
We have been conditioned. We've all been conditioned. That's a script. And we've been conditioned to say that. People have been conditioned when they start going to open houses, they eventually figure out in their brain, because every agent that walks into their open house says, do you have an agent? I never ask that question. Never. You will never hear me ask that question at an open house to anybody. And I'll tell you how I get the information. We'll talk about scripts here in just a little bit. So that it's easy. That's why I know 1 out of 6. And again, I track my numbers. 1 out of 6, and that's a national average, I pick up as a lead and potential client, and I stay in touch with that person. So it's a great lead generation mechanism. All right, let's talk next about sellers. Again, it's very similar to the same statistics or stats that the buyers. It's a referral. And here's where I'm curious. Earlier, it was 19%. So we go back. Here, I'll just read it to you. 12% used the previous agent. So for some reason, listing agents, now think about this for a minute, listing agents have a higher return on using the same person, right? Why do you think that is?
Because you made them money.
Yeah, that could be, absolutely. And this is pure speculation on my part. So all the brand new agents with less than a month, how many are coming besides Christian? Because Christian cheated. he has properties to sell. How many have a listing?
I have 2 listings.
Okay, well, you've been in the business a year and a half. You still cheated. But brand new, anybody who's less than 2 months. No one has a listing coming?
No, not yet.
Not yet. So here's why I think the stat is vastly different. If you think about the percentages, they're vastly different. These are experienced agents. Experienced agents get listings. And they understand the mechanisms and ways to stay in touch with folks. So boom, this stat should be higher. And that's my personal belief on why that's different. But yeah, I can agree. I think, Stephen, you said you made them money. You put money in their pocket. That could be another reason why they called you out of the blue and used you again. And what I do in my own, not major stats or the things that I track, but I hear that you will get a phone call from somebody you sold their house to that you may not have stayed in touch with. And it was a surprise phone call. Oh yeah, hey, you sold my house back in the night. Hey, can you help me on this? And that agent never kept in touch with them. That happens more often than buyers. So keep that in the back of your mind. Again, that's why MEREA, lead generation, listings, leverage. Listings are number one that you get out there. That's the kind of business that you want to build, a listing business. So 3% of all sellers that found their agent at an open house. I told you earlier that I concentrate on listings. And the reason I do that is because it's one of the 3 legs of our business, but the percentage is smaller. So instead of 5%, 3% of all sellers found their agent through an open house. So I thought about that for a while. And I said, how can I change that stat personally for me? And it is the whole reason I do my open houses the way I do now. When someone walks into my open house, all right, so what does the public think at the end of the day? I'm gonna stop sharing here. When you guys were out there before you became agents, did you have the concept in your head that open houses sell houses?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, now that you're an agent, you've heard me say it, and you're in the business. Do open houses sell houses? No,
No.
they don't. But the public's concept is that open houses sell houses. So when a seller walks into my open house, I want them to think this guy knows how to sell a house. That's exactly how that was the whole premise of when I started doing open houses and wanting to take it to the next level. And it was intentional. I said, all right, how can I make my house better than the open house that's down the street or the open house that's across town? So one of the things I did, I encourage you to do this, is I want you to go to every open house that you possibly can in the next 2 months. I want you to walk in, meet that agent, and say, "Hey, I was just in the neighborhood. I'm Tracy with Keller Williams. I just want to see what the house is about and take a look." And you don't care about the house. I want you to concentrate on what that agent is doing in the open house. How did they greet you? Don't wear your name tag. Don't walk in and then let them introduce, and you'll hear their first opening script to you, and then you can tell them you're an agent because you're required to do that. So go into the open house and then look around and see how they're doing their open house. I'm going to tell you right now, 85 to 90% of the open houses that I go to, the agent's standing in the kitchen. They have maybe a couple of brochures and they got their clipboard and their computer. That's not the way I do open houses. You've got to, that's your competition. So go, I want you to go see your competition, find out, and then come to mine, or look at the pictures. I got pictures I'll show you, and then you'll see. Oh, okay, that's where I take my open houses. And the reason I say I concentrate on listings, because I pick up a lot of listings in my open houses, and I'll share those numbers to you here in just a little bit.
Are you going to tell us what you do?
Yeah, I'll show you. I got lots of pictures, but I'm setting the platform. I want you to understand the concepts and where I went in my lead generation and how I thought about it and the reasons I do the things that I do. Because why reinvent the wheel, right? You guys can take it to the level I've done it, or take it, to whatever level you're comfortable with. Spend the money. Don't go into debt. All right, please don't. That was another mistake I made. Put stuff on my credit card, and yeah, I'm still digging myself out of that. Even at those big numbers, I'm still digging myself out of that debt. Don't play the red light, green light. If you don't know what that is, hit me up later. I'll talk about that. I can teach you that, but don't go into debt. All right. All right, somebody's chatting here. Jennifer, you had an aha moment. Did I pass it? Nope. Jennifer can't hear you. All right, cool. It's 10 o'clock. I need a potty break. So let's take let's take 5. Is everybody good with 5 minutes? Yeah, no? Okay, 5 minutes. All right, I'll be right back.
Tracy, are we on a break or something? Is that why it's dead air?
Yeah, we're on a break right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we're on a break, Jason. Sorry.
Hey, do you have since we're on break, do you have an open house this weekend?
Not this weekend. I have one next weekend. I'm going, it's my listing, so I'm doing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I have, if you're asking to join, Friday and Sunday are open. I have an agent joining me on Saturday.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely would love to shadow you.
Okay. What day?
Well, my listing's going to go live on Thursday.
Oh, the same Thursday?
Yeah, next Thursday, a week from today. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
dude. So do your own listing. Don't hang out with me. If you're going live on Thursday, do the open house Friday, Saturday, Sunday like I am.
They won't. That's my other question. Said they don't want to do an open house. I was going to talk to you off air with that.
Oh.
How do you get around that? So,
So
yeah, I'd love to shadow you.
What's their reason for that? Did they tell you?
They have a whole lot of gun safes. I said, well, just put them in the safe. They don't really want traffic. And I'm like, well, you know that this is, they feel that, I guess some other agent told them that a lot of times, most of the time, it's just the neighbors being nosy and looky-loos, and they don't want that. They don't want all the traffic. They want appointments only for the showings and that type of stuff.
Okay. So one of the things, all right, so I had a seller like that, and when they go there, I'm honest with them. I go, look, I'm going to tell you right now, these don't sell. Open houses don't sell. However, it does open it up to potentially getting somebody. It's a slim chance, but it's potentially someone that doesn't have an agent or is looking. It is a lead generation mechanism for me. And the reason I want to take your house and I'm willing to sell your house for you is I will generate business off that. And that's at the end of the day, that's my goal. And I'm honest with them. And usually I've never had somebody tell me no to that. At least one day of open house.
Okay.
And especially now, and you'll pick up in some of the during your listing presentation that they think that open houses was, oh yeah, I want you to hold an open house every weekend. All right, well, first I'm going to tell them, I'm going to dispel that right then and there. And I'm going to tell them the stats and tell them all that stuff, the lead generation, and then say, hey, look it up, Google it, and it's on the internet. It'll tell them all of that information. So be honest with them, and that way you don't have to fight that. Why didn't you sell my house on the open house during the weekend? You don't have that issue pop up.
Yeah.
Because I've had that question asked.
Yeah. They say that they're claiming that it is all the gun safes. I think the real big reason is the big pain is that they're both kind of disabled. They don't get around very well, and I don't think that they want to be
out of the house.
Disturbed. Yeah, out of the house for those 4 hours. They have no other place to go, and that's, to me, I think it's the big why they won't do it.
Yeah, that's occupied houses are tough for that reason.
Okay.
So I have a client who doesn't want me to do an open house because I asked him about it. The neighborhood that he's in, so it's in Hayden. Are you familiar with Hayden?
Yeah.
He said that nobody in his neighborhood can afford it. I need to advertise it outside of the neighborhood. So there's no reason to have an open house.
All right. At that point, I'd be going, hey, let me show you Zillow. And this is how people find houses. Use that national stat.
Right.
They're looking online. It's not your neighbors. Although you will see the neighbors.
So if he's in the neighborhood, they all got there somehow if it's in the same neighborhood, unless he's the pretty house on the block and going to have a harder time to sell it. But they're all in that neighborhood, pretty much going to be in that same price range, wouldn't they be?
Roughly.
You would think, but he refuses to price it in the right price range. He actually demands $90,000, and the highest priced home ever sold in Hayden's $42,000.
Okay, so let's address this in again, mindset, right? You took the listing, right? An overpriced listing, right?
Yeah, because my husband had done work for him, and he only wanted me to list it. So.
Okay, that's cool. So you showed him the stats and you showed him the CMA and all that good stuff, and he still wants to go high. I had an overpriced listing too. I've got it sold. In my listing presentation, I would look, and I always say this to every listing that I go to. I'm here, I do my opening stuff, and one of the things I say is in my script is I am making a business decision whether to take your listing or not. And part of that decision is, are you willing to work with me and trust me in knowing the market and me being the professional giving you that advice and you trusting that information. And I say that every listing that I take. So that sets the platform, and then we get into price, right? And they go, oh no, I gotta have $30,000 higher than you think it is. Okay, here's what I'll do. I'll take your listing, I'll do it. But if we go 2 weeks and we have showings and people coming by, or showings are down and we haven't gotten an offer, in 2 weeks, we're gonna price it where it needs to be. And you write it in the contract. It's a predetermined price drop. I price dropped my listing. He was $10,000 over market. I put it in the listing. 2 weeks later, we had showings, no offers, all the feedback was blah. And then the minute we dropped the price, $10,000, listing number of showings went up, and we were under contract in 7 days. So do that in your listing presentation. Sorry. Do that in your listing presentation. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, everybody back. I'm sharing the screen now. All right, let me make it real for you and give you my personal experience. I updated this last night. So this is what I am going to do as a result of open houses for 2020. So, and this covers my pendings that I know will close before the end of the year, and how much money I'll make. So this year, because of COVID, everything was down. I had 19 open houses, and I say 19 open houses, 19 days. That's all I did. My wife is compromised, has compromised, so I'm very careful about who I make contact with. I always wear a mask and all that stuff. I don't want to bring it home. And she's a teacher, so she's highly exposed. So we're really careful about doing the open houses. So COVID really did some damage to me. Last year I did 43 days of open houses in 2019. So those are days, not individual houses. So out of the 19 days that I did, I closed $98,812 in gross commission income from my open houses. And the reason, how do I know this? Anybody?
Track your number.
I track my numbers.
Up your numbers.
Thank you. Very good. You are listening.
I am. My mute button isn't fast enough.
So I don't, and I'm sorry, but I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't waste my time doing an open house for an hour or 2 hours. It's a massive waste of time for me, because it takes me an hour. I get there 30 minutes early, or 15 to 30 minutes early, and it takes me time to get everything set up. I got to go buy the stuff. There's a lot of prep. It usually takes me about an hour and a half to do my first day of open houses. So why am I spending an hour and a half of my personal time And then now I'm in business time, I'm lead generating, and I'm only going to do it for 2 hours. Waste of time. Minimum amount of time I do an open house is 3 hours. Usually it's 4. So these are how I calculate how much money I make at an open house. So prep and follow-up is approximately the double that time for each day. And that's follow-up, that's making those phone calls, pursuing that business after the open house. All of this is included in this. So prep and follow-up is about 3 to 4 hours for each day. So there's 19 open houses I did last year at roughly 3.5 hours times 2, it's 133 hours spent. You take that and you divide it into 98,000. I'm making $742 an hour at an open house. When I do open houses, I have this number in my head. I'm making money standing in this open house.
Okay.
But because you got a lead, that then you got a listing, and then you sold the house. That's what you mean though by 98,000. From the open house, you got the lead, you got the sale. Yeah,
I got, or they're buyers that I captured, their listings or buyers. That's my business. $98,000 in open house business last year. Massive. This is my #1 lead source. I do it 700. So here's the golden question. How much do you want to make? What job on this planet can you go to and make $742 an hour? Do open houses. Okay, and then follow up, take it to the next level. My numbers weren't this when I first started, trust me. They were low, but keep doing it consistently, build your business and change the way you do it, adapt, and you'll make this money. So let me make sure I'm not missing anything. So we're always looking for future business. Open houses are the business where I know that I can capture business right now and it'll pay off in 3 months, because we're always looking 90 days out, right? Today we woke up and it's December 10th. So whatever lead generation that we're doing right now will happen. We'll see the benefits 90 days from now, because we got to capture the business, then we got to list it, or we got to find on my home, and then it takes 30 to 45 days to close. That's what we're talking about. We wake up every morning unemployed. What are we going to do today to get paid 90 days from now? All right. I have to show you this. The do not call list, $10,000 fine, guys. Make sure if you're making phone calls, you're doing circle prospecting, all that good stuff. Make sure you are not doing making phone calls to the do not call list.
But how do you get that list? I was asking, I didn't get the answer from someone.
Okay, you don't get the do not call list when you get the numbers. If you can call title and say, hey, send me phone numbers for the nearest 100 homes to this address or whatever, they will send it to you, and there'll be a column in there that is this on the do not call list. So if it's on the do not call list, do not call it. Don't ask me if I call it anyway.
But if they gave you the phone number, that's the same as
Shut up,
giving you
Jason.
permission.
Well, if you got it from title, no, they don't give you permission.
No, I mean, if they write the phone number down in the registry that you have at the open house, that's the same as giving you permission.
That's exactly right. And here's something else. FSBOs, for sale by owners. I hear it all the time. That's one of my other lead generations. I pay for that, and I get phone numbers and I call them, and they go, how'd you get my number? I said, you're on Zillow. Do you want to sell your house? Well, I'm on the do not call list, but you put it out there. I can call you now. I don't say those words, right? That's in my brain.
The logic. I mean, come on.
No, it is. Well, there, by the time because I've been lacking in my FSBO follow-up, and I'm calling them 2 or 3 days later after there. And so they've gotten bombarded by 62 different other agents wanting to sell their house. So anyway, enough about the do not call list. I have to put it there. All right, we're going to talk about prospecting now. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of doing the open house, but we talk about safety. Park on the street, meet the neighbors. This is a cool way. This is lead generation. Okay, you're doing the open house. Go next door, introduce yourself, say, hey, this is what I say. Hey, I'm Tracy Castell, Keller Williams. You know, I got the house next door to you. Or, hey, I'm holding the house next door to you. Open this Saturday or Sunday. Just let me know. Here's my card. Let me know if people park in front of your driveway or you have a problem with people, because I don't know how many people are going to show up. It might be really busy. And then say thank you and turn around and walk away. If they engage you, okay, and you're going to get all kinds. You're going to say, hey, thank you. And they'll go, okay, thanks. And they'll walk away, right? Or they've got the screen closed. You just I put the card in there. So just give me a call if there's a problem, and I'll walk away. If they engage you, say, hell, how much is that house? Aha, this is a lead. Okay, learn your door knocking scripts and start asking the questions. If you don't know what LP Mama stands for, hold on.
Are you going to tell us?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you.
Yay! Okay, thank you.
No, I got to find it though.
It's location, price, motivations, agent, mortgage, and appointment.
Woohoo! Very good, LP Mama. Where'd mine go? My wife cleaned my desk this weekend, and it's gone. I have it laminated, and I keep it on my desk. Let me find it for you guys. I don't want to waste time doing this. That's what it stands for. Location, price, mortgage, agent, mama, mortgage, motivation, and appointment. And those are, every question you ask is related to one of those topics. Okay. And send me an email or send me a text message, and I made it for myself. I'll send you LP Mama for buyers and sellers. And I have it on 2 sides, so you can flip it. So send me an email or text message, and I will send it to you after the presentation. But
can you
safety.
repeat that one more time? I was trying to write it down. I got location, okay, price, motivation, and then
location, price, motivation. See now I. Okay.
Agent.
Agent. Agency. Agent. Yeah, agency. Mortgage. Appointment.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. And you can type that in the Google search, and it'll pop up all kinds of things. So you'll see it out there. I just modified it for my own scripting. So meet the neighbors. Safety. That's for your protection too. So they know who you are and what you're doing, and you now have a contact of, hey, I need help. So that might, you never know what that is. Never turn your back on somebody in the house. I know this is hard to do. If you get a creepy feeling from somebody, let them walk in the house and step outside. Especially for the women on the phone call. If you're at an open house by yourself, if you get a creepy feeling from somebody that comes through your open house, welcome them. Have them sign in. Hopefully they will sign in, and I'll show you a technique to get them to make them sign in right now. And then step out of the house and say, hey, make yourself at home. I got to make some phone calls, and step out. Because if they're giving you a creepy feeling, trust it. Trust the hair on the back of your neck. They're not there to buy a house.
And another reason to introduce yourself to the neighbors too, I think.
Yep. Yep. That's exactly right, sir. Always have an escape route. I leave all the doors and the doors in the house open. Everything's unlocked, ready to go. And I will walk around, even when people come through, I will walk around and double check the doors. Okay. And make sure the sliders are open. That way I have an escape route out in the backyard or however. Let somebody know you're always there and when you'll be done. It's whether it's another agent, your husband, your spouse, your wife. I tell my wife every time I go, and when she knows where I'm at and when I'm expected home. She's gotten in this routine where I say, hey, I'm holding an open house 11 to 3. She knows I'm going to leave the house at 9:30 and I won't be back until 4:30. So, and then if I run late, if I pick up a buyer and at the open house that wants to see another house, I'll text her and let her know that I'm running late. Charge your cell phone or take a charger with you. Okay. Those are some basics. You can read all kinds of safety stuff. Just be aware. Agents have died at open houses. So it's a real thing. Okay. They've been killed. So it hasn't happened in Tucson. It's big cities and stuff like that, but it happens. So please protect yourself. All right, so let's talk about preparing for success. I mentioned earlier when I do an open house, I'm starting on Monday to do that open house on Friday, Saturday, Sunday at a minimum. That's where I'm starting. So, and it goes for promotion, etc. So on Mondays or Tuesdays, I'm finding the open house that I want to hold open on the weekend. So you got to select it. And one of the ways, and this is how I'm beating everybody to the punch. Okay. So let me show you. And if you don't have if you don't have this already done, if you don't know how to do this, Tar will teach you how to do this. Let me see if I have one in my in basket yet. All right, everybody see that? This one right here, the second one here.
It's not up.
Yeah, we just see you.
Not? Oh, did I stop sharing? I'm sorry. Share screen. All right, this is my email. Does everybody see this email right here?
Mm-hmm.
Potential open houses. I have set myself up on an MLS feed, and it's called Potential Open Houses. And the filter is really easy. It's the area that I want to prospect in. It's the price point. I have a price point. I go from 175 to 500,000. Okay. And there's a reason for that. And it's right now I have occupied and vacants. I used to have only vacants because I really like, it's easier to hold an open house on vacants. But because everybody knows where the inventory is right now, it's I was only getting a few every day. And I have it set up on instant notification. So literally, I can tell you this thing came in at 10:13 a.m. this morning. So it came in about 15 minutes ago. The listing agent that put this out there put it in about 17 minutes ago. So I know about it. It comes to my email. It dings on my phone, wherever I'm at. I see it and I look at it and I go, okay, do I want to hold this house open? This is how I'm beating you to the punch. Nobody, it blows my mind. Nobody does this. If you want to know about potential open houses for this coming weekend, put yourself on an MLS feed. It's the same feed that you put your buyers on.
Wait. Oh, okay.
That's literally brilliant. That is
Yeah.
brilliant. Not only that, but like I want to do an open house for that house. That house is like 1 mile from my house.
There you go. It's in my price point. This is my beautiful price point.
You are a genius.
So, no, it's not genius. It's common sense. So here's another one. I got in 3 today. And here's another one. So you can see I
Day
prospect
Tucson.
I prospect the east side. That's where I live. So
Brilliant.
set yourself up on an MLS feed. Try to beat me to the punch. Then it's you and me calling that listing agent. Whoever can pick up the phone faster.
Oh, it's on. It's on.
You'll probably beat
going
me
for you,
because I'm busy. So that's how I beat everybody. All right. I'll
Tracy,
talk about. Go ahead.
By any chance, could you take us to the Flex MLS and kind of show us how you set that up?
Sure.
I'm not.
I don't want to waste too much time on it, but I'll show you real quick. I'll show you the settings and everything. Stupid thing. Where did it go? Oh, I just closed it. Hello. I thought a pop-up window was coming, so I closed it too soon. See, now you're gonna make me log in. Everybody can see it, right? It's coming up. All right. Now I'm going to teach you how to do it, because if you're setting up searches for buyers, you should already know how to do this. But I'll show you the settings that I have it set on. And you can see I've named it potential open houses. You just saw all my buyers I'm sending feeds to. So there's 46 out there right now. And I've selected all the Keller Williams office. It's occupied by caretaker, owner, or vacant. Now, before I only had this as owner. I'm staying in town. I'm not doing anything down east or down south in Green Valley or anything like that, or Sahuarita. I am going as far as Corona de Tucson. I cover this area out here pretty well. And then there's my price point. I've got it set to 600 now, just because it was slim pickings out there for a long time. It still is. This used to say 175 to 400. And why do I pick that price band?
Open up your options.
Okay, yeah, there's more homes.
I think above that price range, people get really weary of having open houses, maybe because it's, I don't know, higher priced.
No,
the price in Tucson is like 280 right now.
That's exactly right. Bingo. I am trying to hit that sweet spot of the most. I want people to come to the open houses. The sweet spot's between 2 and 250. If you can find that open house in there, it'll be sold. How many days on market is that house if it's between 2 and 250?
19.
11. I think I checked yesterday and last night it said 11.
Well, that's for the whole MLS at all price points. They don't show this. They don't show this anymore. They used to show days on market for the price band, and you can use this, but I guarantee you at that price point, the house is sold in 3 days or less. So high demand. What does that mean to you as an open house person? Lots of people coming through your house. Okay. I have more people coming through the open house when it's between 200 to 250 than I do if it's at 3 to 350.
Can you go back though? Because when you first started this, you already had your potential open houses. Like, how did you start that search?
That's this right here.
That was already in there on that little.
No. I created this. I don't have time to teach you how to set this up. We can do that offline. So send me a text message. I'll be more than happy to show you how to set up searches in MLS. But these are my current areas that I'm looking at right now, or I keep track of. And you notice I could care less how many bedrooms, how many dwelling type. I don't care. I've done townhomes, condos, single family residence, etc. And it's only residential.
You just set yourself up as a contacted MLS and then added the subscription?
Yep.
Okay.
Bingo. Nailed it. Yeah, set yourself up.
They just email this to you automatically?
Yeah, it's automatic. So here's in the open house, what you're going to tell clients is one of the things that you'll hear all the time. Yeah, one of the things that they'll say when you're talking to them is, how are you finding open houses? Or how are you searching? Once you've determined that, yeah, they're a potential client, you're going to have conversations with them, right? And you're going to, one of the questions that you should be asking is, how are you finding homes that you want to, what price point are you at? Oh yeah, I'm using Zillow and I'm doing this. Oh, cool. Zillow's a great website. How would you like me to set you up on the Bible that feeds to Zillow? And how would you like to know that a house is available before Zillow sees it? And they go, really? You can do that? Absolutely. Let me set you up directly with my MLS, and I will set you up with an instant email that literally within 5 minutes of the listing agent making it live or coming soon in the MLS, you'll get an email about it. And because here's the problem that buyers are finding right now in this market is they'll see a Zillow, they have themselves set up on a Zillow feed, right? They see the house, they call on it, and it's already under contract. That's what's happening. Zillow hits it 24 to 48 hours after, and you'll hear it from buyers at your open house. Start asking the questions, and you want them. Well, hey, this is a value piece. Let me help you get faster information. So this is one of your value adds for the people that you meet at open houses. I can set you up with the Bible that feeds to the MLS, and you will know before everybody else in Zillow, all your competition, before it shows up. And this is why you need to hire an agent, me. And I will be glad to show everybody how to do that. Just don't have time in this presentation, sorry. All right, so that's how I'm beating everybody to the punch in selecting the open house. You need to make a personal decision on what price point, where you want to market, where you want to hold the open houses, etc. I do business personally. I do business all of our entire MLS, with the exception of Sierra Vista. I have listings. I had listings. I sold them in Wilcox. I will not do buyers out there, but I will do listings out there. So what do I do with those buyers that call off of my signs in Wilcox?
Refer them to an agent down there.
You got it. Free money. You got it. Part of my business is referrals. So yeah, I check listings. Sorry. All right, so and I'm going to give you guys have my checklist, or should, in the email that Kayla sent out, you have a sample of my open house checklist. You will see the times that I'm doing it and everything that I'm doing in my checklist. If you guys want to pull that up, you can. Actually, you know what? You should see.
From what I can see in the email is that she just sent the 14 pages that are in the book. I don't see an additional stuff.
She said earlier that she either was or had sent you another email with all my attachments. I sent those to her earlier this morning.
Yeah, I didn't get it neither. I don't think we got that.
I mean, I just have the 14 page.
I replied all to the email I sent out with the packet for today's class, and I had attached those documents too.
So hopefully, if you didn't get it, reach out again. We'll resend
Yes, I can resend them.
So this is my checklist for the open house. So the week of the open house, I'm contacting the agent. I'm doing all this information. I'm doing all this stuff, and we're going to dig into everything that I do and what it looks like and how I do it. So the week of the open house, this is all of this stuff happens during the week. and I'm contacting the agent, getting the times, setting the dates. The key function right here, how do buyers find their open house? They're using Zillow, Realtor.com. So you want to make sure Flex MLS has updated with the times and dates, excuse me, the times and dates that you agreed to with the listing agent. It's got to happen on, if you're doing it on Friday, it's got to happen on Wednesday. It's got to, 48 hours before. If not, your attendance will be down. 51% of people looking at open houses find their open houses on Realtor, or they're using the internet to get that information. So please do that's critical. So if you call me and you want to hold one of my houses open, I will, right after we get off the phone, I'm either getting in contact with my TC and having them put the open house date and information, or I'm doing it myself. That way, because I know it's critical for your success. So it's frustrating for me when I call and I set everything up, and then I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and waiting, and a day later I'm going, hey, put this in there. This helps me. Anyway, we'll talk about the preview list for the neighborhood and why I do it. This is what I hand out, the public version. You'll see a copy of that, a sample of it, the detail sheet, and then I have my agent version, and then any documents or spuds or anything that I need to talk about while I'm at the open house, if it's not my listing. And then I have an open house sign-in sheet for backup. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. I partner with a lender, so I create some lender flyers, and I print my feedback form, minimum 20, and then I print the neighborhood last sold. I'll talk about that here in just a little bit, why I do that. And then the local market update, and then any door knocking activities. I put the flyers together, I assemble them, and I hit my my door knocking activities. One thing that's not on this list is circle prospecting. I've added that. I need to change my checklist. I am now doing circle prospecting for I'm doing two things there. I'm doing circle prospecting for my open houses and my new listings, and I'm doing slide dial or slide broadcast. If you don't know what that is, what slide broadcast, slide dial is, I don't know if you've ever experienced it. Your phone never rings, but you have an email or a voicemail. And you go, what's wrong with my phone? My phone never rang. Well, it's called slide broadcast or slide dial. I can call you. I can put you on my slide dial list or slide broadcast, and you'll get a voicemail from me saying, hey, this just personal invitation about I got an open house over there, blah, blah, blah. And I don't even have to talk to them, because most of the time people don't answer the phone of people they don't know, right? So leave them a voicemail and it's done automatically. I can call 1,000 phones in less than 15 minutes with the same message. You pay for that. Costs you money. So that's one of the things I do to promote the open house. Let's go back to the presentation so I make sure I'm not missing anything. This is the slide we were on. Any questions about that? Okay. Advertising also on Facebook. You can pay for that, or you can just post it on your Facebook and then boost it. Your choice. My experience, I use Command, and I also do my own organic. I've just began doing that on Facebook. If you don't have a Facebook business page, you need to set that up to get that done. I use Command. I've actually had greater success with Command in lead generation from Facebook than doing it organically. And I'm not sure why. I believe it's because of the breadth or the depth that Keller Williams has through the Command system, that when those leads come in, they are real leads, and they're people that have clicked the ad, and I get more of them when I use Command than I do organically right now. Hopefully I'll figure out a way to do that myself. What's that?
I'm absolutely loving Command. And when I set up Like I can set up the time that each post goes out. So I'll spend like 2 hours on Sunday and I'll set up all of my social media posts for the week and it will go out every morning. I'm not even awake yet. And and every day I try to invite like 5 to 10 of my friends. And as they like my page, I usually send them a message immediately. And I say, thank you so much for liking my business page. You have no idea how much it helps out as I'm trying to get my business off the ground. Every time you click on something or like it, it boosts my algorithm. And I really appreciate you so much. And then it gets a conversation going and they're like, oh my God, I'm so excited for you. And then every time I post something, they either like it or they share it. So yeah, like it started out where I think I posted something that had 2 likes. And then I posted something that ended up getting like 99 views the next day because I had 2 friends share it.
So that's perfect. Yeah, I struggle with social media. You see the gray in my beard. But I'm not of that generation where it's habit for me, and it's one of my things that I'm working on. I'm just working on my social media. I've been challenged by my coaches to do that and to promote more that way. There are agents I know of that is their #1 lead source is social media. So if you can get engagement there, it works. So dig it. Yeah, keep going. But command, I use the command to do that. Now I'm just being honest, I do not use command for my CRM. I pay for a separate CRM. The only thing I'm using command for is that lead generation, that social media mechanism. And it works. It works great. So we'll talk more about that on how
a business Facebook page to use command, or can you use a personal Facebook page?
You have to have I'm not quite sure. I know when I do. Sorry, thank you, Dan. Go ahead.
It has to be a business page to link to command.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted the answer for. Okay, thanks.
Good job. Hi, Dan.
Some background to give pearls of information.
Glad you could join us. So, here's the other thing that I'm doing. I'm advertising that on social media on Wednesdays. If I'm doing it on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, okay, that's the assumption. I'm doing social media work on Wednesdays, and then Thursdays I'm doing all my other stuff. I'm either doing my door knocking on Thursday, and I'm doing my neighborhood research, or my homes that are within X miles of the house that are vacant and available to show. Okay, why do I do that on Thursday? Why am I going to houses around the house?
To compare.
To compare, yeah. So you're seeing the competition. Why else? Think about value of people that walk through your open house. Someone walks into my open house and go, oh, this is a great home, but you know what? I really don't like rugs or not rugs, but carpeting. And, I like the three bedroom, 2 bath, but I want all wood flooring or hard flooring. Oh, you know what? There's one about a half a mile away that's about the same price point that has all tile. Let me take you over there. I get done with the open house today at 4 o'clock. Tell you what, here's the address. Let's meet over there at 4:30 today. Do you think I just added value to them? I'm hoping people are shaking their heads. Yes.
So many cameras off, I can't tell.
Yeah, no one's got cameras on. So here's Tracy's business philosophy. I will take a buyer to 1 or 2 houses to show them a house. After that, they're signing a buyer broker with me. Every buyer that I work with, I have a buyer broker agreement on, and it has paid huge dividends to me. It is a business decision I made first on. There are lots and lots of agents out there that never have a buyer broker when they start working with a buyer. That's good for me because they do not have true agency. So if they don't have a buyer broker, I'm going to figure that out and I'm going to try to capture that buyer. Okay, because I'm gonna continue throwing value stuff to them, and then eventually I'm gonna close them, and I'm gonna close them on a buyer broker, and then I'm gonna sell them a house. So that's personal business decision you can make, but that's the way I do it. I'm a little bit more aggressive about getting that done. Here's the other thing I will do on Thursday, because I'm going to go visit the house that I'm going, if it's not my listing, and you will see this in my checklist day before. This is critical. Make sure the electricity is on and the water is turned on. I have done an open house where I went, the electricity was on, but there was no water. The water was shut off at the meter and it was locked out. That means I'm in the house for 3 or 4 hours and I can't take a potty break and I can't go pee. I drink. I literally had to go because it was shut off. It was a tenant thing. The day before I went, there's no water. I called the listing agent, said, "Hey, what's up?" There's no. He said, "Oh crap, we didn't have the water turned back on." All right, I'll still do the open house. I went and bought 5 1-gallon jugs, and I was filling up the toilet so I could flush the toilet after I pee. So those are critical things to think about. Don't get caught. I had to do it. So that's the other thing I'm doing on Thursday before the open house. And then one more thing, I'm looking at sign placement. Where do I want my directionals? So let's talk about that. I come from the construction industry. I have sales background in construction and construction materials. So that's where I get all my experience and my knowledge on running businesses, running a team, being sales, all that good stuff. But in construction, we always have to worry about safety and sign placement for the construction zones and all that good stuff. I want you to take the same mentality of a construction zone when you put your sign placements out for your open houses, because this actually happens. I always be driving down Houghton, because I live in Mesquite Ranch. That's Houghton and Drexel area. I'll be driving down Houghton and somebody will be holding an open house in my neighborhood, and they've blanketed the corner with all their signs. But I'm doing, how fast do people drive down Houghton? Anybody know?
70.
Fast. I drive down it fast. Sorry.
No, that's true. It's the truth.
It's 50, I think. And I think everybody naturally, you just go about 65 to 70. You can't help it.
Sorry, the posted speed limit is 45 down
Oh,
Houghton.
is it?
I drive 50 to 55 miles an hour down Houghton going home.
I don't. Sorry.
I can tell you because I go through Drexel and I hit Portman. That's where I go into my house. By the time I see those blanketed corners, that means I got to do a U-turn to come back and go to that open house. Think about this. Husband and wife driving down the road. Husband's usually driving. Okay, sorry, it's not a male female thing, but the husband's usually driving. He's the grump in the relationship, right? He's the grump in the relationship. They're sort of in the market, and they're doing 50 down Houghton, and they run across your signs. You've blanketed the corner with all your signs. And now she has to have an argument with her husband. Hey, turn around. I want to go to that open house. He goes, no, we're going to the grocery store. Let's get to the grocery store and get our business taken care of. They're having this argument after they've passed your signs. Okay. Usually she wins, right? She will win that argument every single time. But now he's pissed. He's going to turn around, do a U-turn, and go back to your open house. Think about your sign placement. You will find my signs. I will have a straight sign that says, hey, open house ahead, a half a mile before the turn. Then you're going to see a turn sign in enough distance that if I have to make them do a left turn, then enough distance that they can change 3 lanes over and get into that turn lane. And then I've got I will not have a sign on a corner unless it's absolutely necessary. The sign on Houghton for that speed is right at the beginning of that turn bay. You won't see my sign in the corner. You will. And so I'm thinking on Thursday as I'm going to the house, where my sign placement. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about traffic speeds of the main road that I'm pulling traffic from. I have a higher success rate, and I've had people actually tell me, your signs were great. It led me right here. People have made comments about it. So I know it's successful, and I know that, and those statistics that we showed earlier, 41 or 51 and 48%, I'm getting about 37% of my traffic off the signs. The rest of it is because I've done invitations or they've been sent by their agents. And then about 50% have found it on Zillow. I track my numbers. So I know sign placement is critical and important. So keep that in mind as you're doing sign placement and your turns. I just added 6 more signs to my open house signs. I now have 16. I started with 10. I started with 6 turns and 4 straights. And that's really all you need, is 6 turns and 4 straights. I've never done an open house that I couldn't do the sign placement to pull off the main highway into the open house with those 10. I wanted the additional 6 because I can now I can start putting them closer together and making it more prominent. So I'm hoping that'll pay off. That was another $500 spend. So sign placement. Think about that. Think about traffic speeds and where they're going and how you want to pull it. Oh, here's the other thing. The reason I added 6 more signs. Now I can pull from, if I'm between Broadway and 22nd Street, I can pull from both sides with all those signs. So that's, if you need signs, you can use mine if I'm not using them. I know Keller Williams has just regular plain old Keller Williams signs. I'm not sure who has them. Dan? Oh, Dan's vacant. He disappeared on us. Dan will be able to help you locate signs. Sarah?
Where do we order these signs?
You can, there's several different companies in town. I use Sign Up.
Okay.
I call Tim over at Sign Up on 22nd and Palo Verde.
If you
They're
go
great.
to
They made my
some,
signs in one day.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let
And
me show
they'll
you.
put them in the ground for you and take them back out again.
Yeah, that's for listings. These are the open house signs I have. I use the H stand. And this is one of my turns. And then the straights, of course, they have the arrows that point up, and on the back side they have the little turnaround sign symbol. So I added 4 more turns and 2 more straights. So now I have, what is that, 10 turns and 6 straights.
And these are those ones that are really like heavy duty metal, right?
Okay, this is metal, and it's a metal stand. It will get blown over in high winds.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can see this. Let me blow it up. Boop. But see that blue bag right there?
Oh yeah, sand. Okay.
I have yellow and blue, and I did that on purpose because they stand out, sandbags. So I have a sandbag for every sign, and I put them out because I have done open houses where it's really windy and the sign moves, and why aren't people coming in through my signs? Because I get out there on the main drag, or a truck went by really close and it moved it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, notice I've got it right up against the curb, so it locks it in, and then I threw the bag on it. Now, depending on wind direction, it would be in front or in back. The whole idea, I don't care if it covers up Keller Williams or any of that stuff. The whole idea is that arrow, open house. That's what they're looking at. So that's how I attract or do my signs and my sign placement. And it's, again, intentional about what I'm doing with my signs and how I'm getting there. It's funny to go to other open houses, and this is, I encourage you to do that. If anybody didn't hear that part, in the next month or 2 months, I want you to go to every possible open house you can and go visit them and see what they're doing. Check out their sign placement. Look at that. Is it easy for me to find the open house from their sign? You will be surprised. It's amazing what you run into out there. It's hilarious, actually. And one of the things that I do is I have this. At every one of my open houses, The reason I started doing this is there was an open house down the street from me. People didn't realize that my house was open. Now they know. You cannot drive by my open house without knowing that the house is open. It's huge. I put that out as in the most prominent area I possibly can. And people find me. So that was a $50 spend. Well worth the money. It's a no-brainer. So let's get back to this.
But you didn't do all that in your first year, right?
Actually, I took it to the next level probably in February of 2019. I started in November 2018 because I realized open houses was where the money was at. That's where people were going. And somebody near and dear to me said, Tracy, put yourself physically in front of people that are wanting to buy or sell. And that is the only place you can do it physically, is open houses. Because the best conversation you have is face to face, right? The next best is on the phone. After that comes texting and all that other stuff. All right. Location. So let's talk about location. So I will look, if I see a house out there, if it's a beautiful house and it's gorgeous inside, it's like redone and all that good stuff, I don't care about the location at that point. But if it's your average house, yeah, location becomes important. How easy is it to get to? Now I have 16 signs, but I only had 10 signs. Do I have to direct somebody 4 miles back into the open house? So think about those kinds of things. Time, we've talked a little bit about that. During the weekend, you're going to get all the looky-loos and the neighbors. So you want neighbors because they're potential listings. So absolutely do it on the weekends, but you will have more looky-loos coming through. And there's ways to determine that. Again, we've talked about traffic patterns and local practices. Does everybody know who's doing Oro Valley? Let me stop sharing so I can see hands here. Who's up in Oro Valley? Raise your hand. Who's going to be doing open houses in Oro Valley?
I'm going to do it everywhere.
Okay. If you're going to be doing open houses in Oro Valley, you have to have the sign permit on your open house sign. They will take your open house and it will go to sign jail, and you have to pay a fee to get it out. TAR has paid the permit, the sign permit for you. It's part of your membership. So all I do is I print the sticker and I put it on my sign. So Oro Valley has a sign ordinance, and you've got to have a permit to put a sign out.
Where do you get that?
TAR, I believe it's on the TAR website. They have the number for you, and all you gotta do is find the number and stick it on there somehow.
Okay.
Real easy. So don't get your signs in sign jail in Oro Valley. It can be a pain in the butt to get them back. You gotta pay a fine. Green Valley also has some sign ordinances. Now, someone called me out on it. Supposedly you can't put your open house signs in the median, because I will do that. If I can get across the road and put it in the median with enough advance, I will put my signs in the median. Someone called me out on it, an agent down there, because they think I'm poaching because I'm from Tucson. But I was down there holding one of my listings open, and they called me out on it, and I challenged them. I said, hey, show me the ordinance that it says I can't put my open house signs there, because it was another agent, and they never did produce it. So be aware, there may be sign ordinances where you have an open house that you gotta do a little bit of research and try to find that. It was never proved to me, so I'm not stopping.
It's usually where a lot of old people reside.
Okay. Yeah. Green Valley. Man, there'll be a day I have to move to Green Valley. So,
You young whippersnappers and your signs.
exactly.
I live in Green Valley. That's why I can say that.
All right. Moving on. Let's get back to the presentation here. Start sharing. Any questions so far? Cool. All right. Location. So, talking about preparing for success, right? This is my notes that I take when I visit a house. So when I'm doing my preview of the vacant homes that are within X amount of miles, right, of the house, these are my notes to myself. And here's the cool part about this. I will have this on my clipboard. This is my clipboard. And I'll show you what all this is. I always have this on my clipboard, but I have this is my clipboard that I have for myself, and I will have that information on it along with the listing information. So when somebody does come in the open house and say, hey, you know, I really like this house, but do you know of any houses that have stainless steel appliances or whatever? I have my notes. I'll flip to that. You know what? Let me look. And here's what I'll tell them. I always preview homes before my open house. So I've been in all these homes. And you can see I visited 13 homes on this particular listing, wherever I was, and I made notes to myself. And it takes me literally 5 to 10 minutes in the house. It doesn't take much time at all. It took me about an hour and 15 minutes to hit all these homes and make notes, because once you start visiting homes, you'll get a feel for, all right, this home's that model, this home is this, and where the layout is. You don't have to know all the details, but you need to know, hey, this has got a pool, this has stainless steel appliances, this one's got carpet and tile, this one needs some, look on number 11 here, right, right here, needs TLC. All right, if someone, hey, yeah, you know what, we're looking for a house that's got stainless steel appliances, but we're willing to take on, you know, something that's needs some love. Well, that one needs some TLC. Let's go see this. This is at 259. They actually will see that you've taken notes, and they go, this person has their stuff together. You're impressing that person that you're talking about. I do this for every single open house I do. So preview, look at the house, make some notes, and take it with you, and then show it. Oh, here's the other thing too, that same one, cameras. In your buyer presentation, one of the things I always say to my buyers is when doing my buyer presentation and getting them under a buyer broker is when we go view homes, assume that you're always being recorded and you're being videoed. Okay, they're listening in, and you're under surveillance in every single home that we walk into. So when we walk into a house, and you'll know when we open the front door if the house is for you, because it's a feel, and you go, oh my God, this is beautiful. Please don't say those words, because you just took my negotiating power away from me. So keep all comments neutral. When we walk around the house and take a look at things, then we step outside, we'll talk about price and making an offer and all that good stuff outside of the house. We don't do it inside the house. I tell that to every single buyer. Here's the other thing, and as a listing agent, and learn from mistakes, right, of previous agents. One of the things I will tell my buyers is when you walk into a house and you want to write an offer on this house and you know it, and we step outside, while we're in the house, I just mentioned to me, hey, Tracy, can you take a couple pictures for me? That is my cue as an agent to take pictures of the refrigerator, the washer and dryer, and what am I taking pictures of there? Anybody? And I challenge, and I'll pick on Victoria. Victoria, are you still on with us?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm here. What was that? What am I taking?
So why would I tell a buyer, if we're inside the house and they want to write an offer on it, for the buyer to tell me, hey, take a couple pictures for me, and I go take pictures of the refrigerator, washer, and dryer? What am I taking pictures of?
Oh my gosh, that's a good question. I never thought about that.
All right.
Model
Okay, tell
and
me.
the actual unit.
Exactly right, Christian. So as a listing agent, one of my pet peeves is to get offers, and I get them every single time. I had one house that we had 13 offers on. Every single offer that came in said refrigerator, washer, dryer, as seen on X date.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, that is not a description of a washer and dryer, because what will happen is your buyer will get confused with the appliances that they saw. You've shown them 9 homes that day. They don't recall exactly that was stainless steel appliance package, or it was a red LG washer and dryer with a stainless steel refrigerator. You have photography and you've got that model number. I always write in every single offer that I put out for my buyers, I give that description. It's a GE side-by-side stainless steel refrigerator, model number, blah, 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 whatever I took the picture of. It properly identifies it. That two things: you're protecting your buyer from the seller from switching them out from the old ones that were in the garage, or from switching them out and taking them with them. Here's when I go to a listing appointment, I do the very same thing. At the listing appointment, I'm asking, are you including the washer and dryer and the refrigerator with this listing? Yes. Perfect. I take a picture and I take a picture of the model number, and then that is every single offer we never accept. Because why? It says as seen on this. We write a counter offer to clear that up. I call the agent, say, hey, my seller loves your offer. They're accepting it. However, I'm sending you a counter offer. We're cleaning up contract language, and I'm properly identifying the refrigerator, washer, and dryer. Here's the bad thing that can happen to you as the agent. So if you don't do this, you don't protect your buyers and your sellers, there could be a disagreement between the buyer and seller that says, no, that was an LG appliance package, or it was a Frigidaire top of the line gallery. That was a $3,000 refrigerator that we saw when we were there. And now there's a fight because as seen on November 12th, 2001, that is not a description.
Yeah, I switched out the old garage fridge for the house fridge before on sales. That's pretty much an old trick.
See, protect your buyers and your sellers. Take those pictures. If you ever send me, okay, I wrote everybody's name down. If you ever send me an offer with that, I'm calling you up and say, rewrite it. Put those model numbers in there, okay? You will save your money. So in the end, who's going to pay for the new refrigerator because there's a dispute and the whole deal is going to fall apart?
The agent.
The agents. I'm not going to make a silly mistake and it cost me $1,500 out of my commission.
Where do you find the model number?
It's on the inside of the refrigerator.
On the door.
You open the door. It's always on the sides. On washers you lift the lid. It's either back up against the rim underneath the lid, or it's on the side. Depends on the model. On the dryer, it's always in the door somewhere. My dad was a Sears appliance repair technician after he got out of the Air Force. That was his. He read the color of my parachute and decided, you know what, I don't want to be an airline pilot. That's too much crap. And he went to Sears. So that's how I know that. So get off my soapbox. Door knocking. So we're at 11:15. Let's take a 5-minute break. Everybody do your potty break, get what you need done, and then we'll continue on. 5 minutes.
I'm getting a lot of great information, Tracy. I really appreciate your
Oh.
insight.
Thank you. I am running behind, so I gotta pick things up. I don't want to run long.
Take the
I want
time
to get
you
to the
need,
meat.
brother.
I want to give you
That
guys.
check.
Yeah.
That checklist you have for open houses, is that something that's available? Is that your personal checklist?
That's my personal checklist. I have a here. I'll show you right quick. Real estate, open houses. So here's my checklist. So I've created. I'm Dan. What
Sir.
disc profile do you think I am?
You're a high C.
I am a very high C.
You're the highest C I have ever met.
I am a high C, high D, believe it or not. My D comes out when I'm trying to get. Someone wants. Yeah, it's funny because I can drag on talking, but it irritates the crap out of me to hear a very high I try to tell me something. My D kicks in. I really have to concentrate on that. But I have a spreadsheet for just about everything. I'll be more than happy to share this with you. You guys can modify it however. But I have sign-in sheets here. There's a half sheet, the feedback, and then this data is how the data feeds over to my checklist and all that stuff because this auto populates. And then this, we're about to cover this portion of it right here. And this is a macro, how I import the data so I can get this and I can instead of typing it all, it takes time. I just created a macro, download it and be done. It literally takes me, and I'll show you why I did this. It'll click in just a second when I get to and I'm about to get that in the presentation here. All right, so let's get rolling. Door knocking. I do door knock. It's one of the best lead sources that I have. All right, so this is separate. I do count my time door knocking separate from my open houses because I want to know my return on investment on my door knocking activity. So I will door knock an open house. You guys have an example of, or will have an example of my door knocking flyer. It's simply, hey, you're invited. In my script, again, it's just like the door knocking the neighbor. When you're doing the open house, I'm door knocking everybody else. And literally I have this sheet. On the front side is the invitation, and this is just cut and paste from the MLS description. And then it has the dates and times. And then I usually have cookies. So, come visit me for some cookies and call me to schedule a private tour. And I pull the pictures from MLS, put them on there. And then the backside is your neighborhoods. And these are properties in their neighborhoods, not comps. That's a critical piece. It is not a comp to the house. It's just what has sold in the last 5 months within a certain radius. And that's the reason you saw that in my spreadsheet. I download that from MLS, and then I just say, hey, grab it, and it goes over and grabs it from that file and puts it in this form. I copy and paste it right here. And then this is my listing side. This is the buyer side. This is the listing side if I'm targeting somebody. And it's on the back side. So I have it folded. I walk into the house. I knock on the door. If someone answers, hey, I'm Tracy with Keller Williams. I'm holding the house over here on Orchid Street, just a couple rows over from you. I just wanted to do a personal invitation for you to come by on Friday or Saturday and come by and see me. Thank you. And literally, I turn around and walk away. And again, if they engage, then you can start doing LP Mama with them. And usually what they'll say is, oh, really? How much is the house listed for? Oh, the house is going for this much. Do you know the value of your house? Or would you like to know the value? Or, why do you ask? You start getting into those questions because now they've engaged you. So they're curious about something. Sometimes it'll go 1 or 2 questions. Sometimes it'll have a whole long conversation. One of the other things, and I don't have a sample of it, is I have a map of all the homes. I predetermined how many homes I'm going to door knock. I can door knock 150 homes in 2 hours.
Wow.
So I plan it out. It's intentional. I'm not going to have that many conversations, but I will have that map with me, and I'm looking at all the houses where I'm at in that house. And if I have I'll check it, or I have a little code that I put on the map. I had a conversation, and I'll put a little note on that. Now, what can I do with that information? Because I had a conversation with that person.
Follow up.
Follow up.
Follow up. And my follow up, because I don't have their phone number or anything, my follow up is a thank you card. I send them a thank you card. And say, hey, thank you I enjoyed meeting you today. I hope to see you. Or did I miss you at the open house or whatever? I'll create it. And now in that thank you card, that in literal, they're little tiny thank you cards. Here, I'll show you. Got to dig them out. That's my thank you card. Bought them on Amazon. I bought 1,000, and I can't remember. It was cheap. These are like 4 cents each with the envelopes. Inside the thank you card, I send 2 pieces of information and I handwrite this. Handwrite it. Okay. You will use this at your open house as part of my follow-up from the open house too. But inside this is 2 pieces. They have my card, and my card is a magnet. Nice. This is already paid for itself from an open house. A client called me. I had their information. I was staying in touch with them electronically. They never answered the phone when I was doing my follow-up, but they called me and said, hey, Tracy, we've had your card on our refrigerator since we met you at the open house. Sorry, we didn't respond or to my voicemails, but we need to sell our house and buy a new one. So those cards have paid for themselves already with that deal right there.
Who did you use for those?
National Pen.
Thank you.
So that's once, and then that's why I do the little map, so I know I can now go back and send them a thank you card. I have their address and their name, and you can find that either in CRS or you can do it on Pima County website to do that follow-up. And then they go into my system, but it's only mailing unless they call me, unless I get their phone number. Okay. So we've talked about social media. I'm going to skip that, go fast. Meet everybody in the door. Let's talk a little bit about scripting and what I say when someone walks into the open house. Earlier, I said I never ask anybody if they have an agent. Those words don't come out of my mouth. I learned a long time ago. They're conditioned to say yes. I actually had a client, when I asked that question, she's told me, yes, she has an agent. And then I ran across her in another open house and I recognized her. And I said, I've met you before. She said, yeah, I met you at the open house. So I just talked to her and let her wander around, and we talked a little bit. She became a buyer. And you know what? She lied to me. The first time I met her, she told me she had an agent. No, she didn't. So the very first thing I say when someone walks in the door is welcome home. I didn't see faces. I usually stop sharing. Let me stop sharing here. So how many people, when I said, hey, welcome home, smiled when I said that? Nobody greets anybody like that anymore. It immediately takes, it immediately starts building rapport. It takes them out. It's a greeting that they don't ever hear. So it's something that I picked up. I started doing. It's, hey, welcome home. The next question then is, hey, how did you find the open house? Now I'm gathering information for myself, right? All right. So, hey, Dan, you want to role play right quick?
Let's do it.
Hey, Hey, welcome home.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Tracy with Keller Williams. What's your name?
My name's Dan.
Hey, Dan. Well, thank you. Appreciate you coming to the open house. How'd you find the open house?
I just saw the signs inside the road.
Oh, great. So my signs actually work. How'd you like that? Perfect. Well, hey, since it's COVID, so I do the seller, and for your safety, I do need you to sign in. And the reason that I need your name and at least a phone number is if we have some sort of exposure that I can reach back out to you and inform you and let you know. So if you'll take this and okay, now back out of role play. That's what I always say, especially now for COVID. It's a great excuse to gather their information. I will give them the feedback form, and it's on a clipboard. Now on the back, they have the feedback form on top, and then underneath that is information about the property and the neighborhood, so that they can take that with them. So I've now told Dan he has to sign in, and usually I'll hand him the clipboard with one of my pens. And my pens, again, National Pen has my name on it. They can keep the pen. I don't want it back because of safety. Okay. So now they have one piece of information with my information on it, so they can reach back out to me. It's the pen. So at this point, now Dan's got the clipboard in his hand. Hey, Dan, you don't have to really fill that out right now. So please take your time walking around the house and make yourself at home. I'm curious, how long have you been looking, Dan?
I mean, we're not really sure what we want to do. We just kind of thought about it the other day. So.
Oh, really? So just a couple of days, you've just started the process.
Yeah, the wife wanted to stop by. She likes this neighborhood, and I was on my way to go get her, so I figured I'd stop in first.
Great. So have you made any offers on anything yet?
No, this will be the first house we looked at.
Great. All right. So what, out of role play, what information now do I know?
Did I have a wife?
Which amazes me.
They don't have an agent. They just started.
And they haven't made an offer. So the likelihood that Dan is unrepresented is very, very high, right? Because, and why? If he's represented, when I ask that question, have you made any offers yet? The agent, go ahead, Dan.
Usually if you have an offer out there, they'd sign a buyer broker along with it.
That's exactly right. Or if they've been through a buyer presentation with another agent and they're without their agent in your open house, they have been told by that agent, because you know what, it's part of my buyer presentation. When you go to open houses, if I'm not there, please tell them that you have representation and you give them my name. So those questions I always ask, those are the same questions every single time. Welcome home. How did you find the open house? How long have you been looking? Have you made any offers yet? Now I've determined, and by the answers that you'll get, you'll determine if they're a buyer or they're a seller. If they're a seller, they'll tell you, oh, I'm just a neighbor. I saw the signs. I just want to see what the house was like. All right, cool. Come on in. And usually the first question out of their mouth is, how much is it? What are you asking for it? All right, so they want to know the value they're comparing. Perfect. I love nosy neighbors. Come on in, and then let them go. All right. I don't follow them around. I don't put pressure on them, especially if it's a vacant house. If it is a house that's occupied and I have to, and I've told the owner or the listing agent has told me, hey, protect the valuable, anything value. So I will stay close. But more than likely, I'm just going to let them go. Offer them some water, some goodies, whatever, and let them run. At some point during them walking around, I'm going to start asking them LP Mama questions. So you haven't made any offers? What price? Is this the price point that you've been looking at? Is this the neighborhood you like? What part of town are you looking for? Those kinds of questions to determine, how can I fit into the equation? At some point, I will ask. On my feedback form, it has information about the house, what they think about it. why do you think I do that piece? Why do I have the feedback form that I want those people visiting to give me feedback? It's not my listing, okay? Let's pretend it's not my listing.
Because then you can find out what they're looking for.
You can drive that question. Why else?
It could be a potential listing.
Could be a potential listing, exactly.
To learn better, to do better.
I can learn, yeah, I can learn better. All of those are good points, but the reason, my intent behind giving them a feedback form is so other listing agents will call me to do their open houses. Why?
You give feedback to the agent that's selling the house.
That's exactly right. So here's what I do. So let me share, and you guys have a copy of my, come on. My feedback form, there it is. So you have a copy of this. They will generally, it'll be in their handwriting. Everything's filled out. This top portion, I will either cut off or I'll get in Adobe and put a whited out so the listing agent doesn't have the information I've captured for the buyer or the potential client that I have, and I send that to them. It's in the visitor's handwriting, and then the listing agent can take that information and share it with the seller as feedback. This is valuable, especially if you're a listing agent and you've told now your seller, I'm going to feed you information at every open house, all the comments that I get, I'm going to give it to you. So now I'm an agent that this is not my listing. This is the reason other agents call me to do their open houses. This information I want as a listing agent because I'm going to give it to my seller. Because you know what? I told them to paint that purple bedroom 2 months ago and they still haven't painted it. and 50% of the comments say it's a really dark bedroom. All right. So this is valuable information that a listing agent is looking for, and you need to provide that to the listing agent, and they will learn to trust you at their open houses. And this is how, when you're calling on an open house and then I call right behind you, I may get to do the open house instead of you. So start doing this. Make this a business practice and something that you do for the listing agent. You want to provide value for listing agents in order to get there, in order for them to say, hey, I want you to do my open house because that's your lead gen source. Sign in, qualify the leads. This is LP Mama, and provide value. So you can provide value in whole bunch of different ways. One of the things that I do. I'll get rid of this again. So here is a picture of what you see my table when you come to my open house. Welcome home is across the front. My names are on the side. This is just a table. This is one of those fold-up tables you buy at Costco, 6-foot table or however big they are. I bought the cover, throw it on there. These little boxes right here, let me zoom in here. Those are giveaway boxes. Inside those boxes, again, is my magnetic card and little candies, hard candies. Don't put chocolate in them because chocolate will melt. I do have chocolate out. I carry that in a cooler, separate, but usually these stuff stay in my open house goodie box that I take with me. Each one of these boxes probably cost me, including the card, I want to say about $1.30 maybe. But if they fill out the form, the feedback form, I will give them as a thank you. Hey, thank you for all the feedback. Thank you for giving me that feedback. So I give them something to go. It has all my information in it. The other thing that I give as a value is that sheet that has all the information about it, and the neighborhood, the stuff on about the neighborhood in the back of it. You can get that from several different sources, or you can just pull it from MLS. I'm trying to see if I have another example of that. This is, okay, so you guys can see, this is my co-branded flyer with Tom Heath at Nova Home Loans. I have that there so they can get an idea of, hey, at these rates, this is how much the house is worth or how much my payment is. And it's safe. He produced it, I didn't. Door knocking flyer, where's my agent copy? Oh, property flyer, duh. Okay, so this is the front page. It's directly from MLS. This is the client data detail, has my information on it. And on the back, okay, I did the co-branded information on this particular one. That worked great. Let me get property flyer. Again, same thing. I highlighted this one and printed it so they knew that information's there. And this is all the active listings within X many miles around the house. So, and I highlighted the listing that I was at. So they may not, and I don't care about the price point. You see it's 133 down to 320 around this particular open house that I did. This is information that they're looking for. They want to know what's out there. Again, active. Do your filters so you can, in MLS, you can give this information to them. So that's on the back of the flyer. I want them to keep that flyer. And this gives them, so they can start looking up these properties. Okay, those are items of value that I hand out.
I have a question.
Yes, go.
I know a lot of people bring like their iPad or computer. Have you ever brought like a printer so you could just on the fly kind of go to their?
I don't. I used to have one of my previous jobs. I had a printer that I have. I think I still have it. I could do that. My whole thought process is I don't want to give them everything. I want to give them a tidbit. I want to capture their information so I can follow up with them.
Okay, that makes sense.
We're going to go through my follow-up process in just a minute. So show them a neighborhood snapshot. You can do, Command has all this good stuff in it. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can design whatever you feel comfortable, what you like out there. If it's my listing, I use Listing Booster to help me produce some of this stuff, and that's a whole different subject matter. Capture the lead. We're there to do that. So once you captured it, these are different ways you can capture the lead. You can either do it with an iPad or whatever. I've tried this on an iPad with a program that would capture their information. It took them too much time to type it out on the iPad, and instead of taking the clipboard and walking around with it. Now I have 6 clipboards that I have at every open house that, and you'll see them in the picture. Maybe. I think I had them out on this picture. Yeah. They're stacked right back here. You see all those clipboards? That's my feedback form on it, and it has the stuff behind it for them to take. I have pins out and stuff. Now, here's the cool part, right? So this is what's funny. I always do, okay, high C, right? Everything's got to be arranged perfectly in square. So when I leave the open house, I usually leave this set up. If I'm doing multiple days, it's vacant, I will get permission to leave my setup overnight. So I take the cookies and I take the stuff and I package them back up, but I will leave these out. And you know what? The next day I come back from an open house to do the open house, and there's a couple missing. What has happened? It's either one of two things. Agent has done a showing and one of the clients picked that up, or the agent looked at my setup and went, what the hell has he got in this box? And they took it. So again, my information's getting out there, and I'm hoping clients pick it up. I've never had anybody call me and say, hey, I grabbed one of these and I was with my agent and he's a quack. I want you to help me out. I've never had that call, but I know it's being done because they disappear, and I know it ain't the dogs taking it. So again, multiple ways of getting your information out there. Here's the feedback. Back to the presentation. These are real feedback forms. Okay, both of these turned into clients, and key things hopefully you can see my notes up here. Looking for friends in Colorado. This turned into a $300,000 or $330,000 buy or sell. This one turned into a $319,000 buy or sell. And he's given me 2 referrals off of it. Okay. So again, I take heavy notes once I capture their information about my conversation once they leave. Because in your CRM, if you will see, I have had open houses literally for 2 days where I saw 46 people. It was in Sam Hughes, and the house was priced at 300. It was crazy. I had to call a listing agent. It was Kimmy. I said, Kimmy, I cannot handle everybody. Come join me on Sunday. And she did. And it blew us away how many people were coming through the house. Even with both of us there, we didn't have good enough contact with everybody that came through the house. So without this information, when I spoke, I know John really well now, but when I first met him, I wouldn't be able to recall that conversation I had with him. Make notes, put it in your CRM so you can do the follow-up. Okay, I can't stress that enough. And again, this information and notice, hot lead. So I would black this out or white it out and then send it to the listing agent so they didn't take this information from me. All right, so let's talk about follow-up and what I do for follow-up. So our whole idea is to cultivate that business and which leads to an appointment, and then get them active in the system and then get them under contract and close them, right? That's the whole follow-up and convert process. It's just like every other business in the world. This was not strange to me when I came to Keller Williams, because this is the same stuff that I used to do in my other businesses. I'm trying to fly so I don't run out of time. So you guys,
you don't need to.
Okay. Ways to make your open house stand out. I do it with visual stuff like you saw. I also have music playing. I always put music on. It's big band. I don't put, Christian rock or heavy metal stuff that, I would listen to, or country music or anything like that. It's always a neutral type of music in the background. It's big band. It's Dean Martin, whatever's playing. It's soft in the background. You can partner with local businesses. And what I mean by that is you can get a hold of somebody that services that neighborhood, whether it's a restaurant or somebody who provides services or whatever, and provide them coupons. Say, hey, partner with them. This is a way to do referrals and network you and your business with other businesses. Once COVID gets done, and I hope it's in the next 6 months or so, my intention is to partner with some of the local food folks that service that area, Rita Ranch or wherever it is, and hey, provide samples for me. Come to the open house, provide samples, we'll provide coupons, and we'll drive business towards you from my open houses. Because that'll make me stand out, right? Offer a gift. You need to talk to Lisa, the broker, about doing that. There are some limitations that you have to do with offering gifts. Please talk to her about that. Host an artist showing. John Gates, that customer I just showed you, he's an artist. I've actually told him, hey, once COVID gets over with, I want to display some of your artwork in some of my open houses. And if we sell it, money goes to you, man. It promotes you, but it will help me stand out and be different. from all those other agents that you're in competition with. All right. Go live on social media. A lot of people are doing this now. This is one of the things I need to work on, like I told you earlier, but you can go live, especially Jennifer, you're doing a lot of that. You got to add this to your repertoire. We've talked about this. Oh, value, when you leave, you'll notice on my checklist, it's one of the things when the open house is done, this is every single day. There are bad people out there. They will come to your open house, open windows, and hope that you don't leave, you don't check the windows. I have actually walked around the house and found that a window was left open. I'm going, why did they open the window? Well, they're going to come back, gain access through that window. Make sure when you close everything up, you check all the windows. Don't be that agent where somebody got broken into the night of your open house, or 2 nights later, because they left the open window. Okay. Be careful about meals and offering food and stuff. You don't want to make a mess. There are agents out there that will tell you, if you're going to do an open house at my open house, don't provide food. It's their preference and their seller's preference. And please don't make assumptions. Get permission to do everything. Come on, click. All of these things I carry with me, plus a little bit more. You'll notice on the measuring tape, I say laser measure. I don't carry a measuring tape. I have a laser measurer, because invariably you get somebody, and this includes your buyers when you're showing homes. Hey, how big is this bedroom? All right, let me go grab my laser measure and I will measure the bedroom for them. They will ask you that during open houses. Are you providing value when you do that? Absolutely. So be that agent that can give them the information that they need or they're looking for, or find a way to capture their information using that. Quickly talk about follow-up. All right. This is my follow-up plan. You guys, and this is a graphical representation of, oops, where'd it go? I keep jumping around in my files, don't I? My campaign. So like I said earlier, this is a snapshot of my campaign I've set up for my open houses. It's 19 different steps, and there's different things. I use a system called Follow Up Boss. I pay for that outside of Keller Williams. You can do this exact same thing in Command. So these are all the steps that I go through to convert that open house lead to a real buyer or a real seller. And so let's go back to the presentation. We'll talk about it graphically. So day of that's the open house. The very next day or that day, I'm either calling and asking for questions if they have any further questions or any additional feedback, since they were seeing other open houses, and providing that information and having a conversation with them. And I will also send them a text saying, thank you for dropping by. Day 2, this one is email task, either a personal thank you email message. And this is where your notes come in handy. Don't make this a generic thing that automatically sends out. I was doing that at one time. I got greater success when I took my notes and said, hey, what now my task pops up, and I'll show you Follow Up Boss and what I have to do, but it will pop up and says, hey, you have a task, send this email. And that encourages me to customize it based on my notes. Hey, John, I know you were looking for this, and this, and this. I know you said this about the house. You know, I really appreciate you coming by. The seller appreciates it. Is there anything else I can do for you or anything like that? Make it personal. Don't make it a generic. Say, or you've agreed to send them listings through the MLS and set them up on the Bible. Remember I said that earlier? So this is your follow-up. Send that email listings to them. Day 3 is a call. You're following up on that email that you sent. I have a system called HomeBot, which if they're a seller and they already own a piece of property, I've determined that. And one of the questions I'll ask them, hey, do you want to know the value of your house every single month and track it? And I have an example of it. I have it live on my iPad, and I can go through it with them. I'll set them up on the HomeBot system. That's another touch that I'm reaching out to them. And then I will always send a handwritten thank you card. And again, it has my cards and my magnet inside that. That and Dan, you've talked to them about handwritten notes, right? Okay, it works. Trust me, it works, because I will actually get a phone call when they receive it and say, nobody handwrites thank you notes anymore. Thank you for that. So it works, trust me. The fourth step is on day 5, email task to send them a CMA offer if they're a seller, or it's just my check-in email, see how they're doing. At any point in this plan, if they engage me and I set an appointment, I turn this off. This shuts down. And I have that automatically set where I can stop it. And because now they're moving off this plan, this is a follow-up plan, and I'm moving them to, hey, now they're a buyer or a seller plan. And I have those plans put in place for me, the daily task that they encourage me to keep track of all this. So if I don't hear any response after the check-in email, I'll call them, check in on their needs, see how they're doing, see if they have any further questions. Have you found a home yet? Made any offers? Whatever conversation you can get out of them. Email day 14, we're 2 weeks out from the open house. So notice about my plan, it's heavy on the front end, right? Why?
Because if
That's when they
they're
remember
immediately
you.
interested, you want to capture that. If not, you want to nurture it.
That's exactly right. I want to capture it. Sarah, what was your comment?
I was just saying that's when, because they remember you at that time. They're so fresh in their mind. At them while they're still there.
Yeah, fresh in your mind that you've met them and they will remember you. That's exactly right. So what are my chances here as we start going out in this plan of capturing that lead? They start diminishing very rapidly. So I will add them to the monthly. Go ahead. No. All right. So I will add them to my monthly newsletter. I have a monthly newsletter I send all my clients if I have their email. I'll do another check-in email. Here's another email check-in task. Call the lead, and then day 28, call the lead, see if they're still in the market. Text the lead, see if they're still in the market. Email the lead, see if they're still in the market. If I still get no response from those, okay, a lot of times I will get, no, we're not interested, leave me alone, take me off your list. All right, boom, they're off my list. I close them out. I never get rid of them. Okay, they're a closed lead now in my system, and I reach out to them once a year. I put them on a one-year contact, just checking in. If I get no response out of this whole system, I go to my DTD2 contact plan. Does anybody who knows what the DTD2 contact plan is? All right, tell us about it.
Well, when they like A&W, so you have your Dan taught us about it, to where you call all the A&Ws this week, and after you go through the entire alphabet the way it's set up, you've called them 4 times a year.
That's exactly right. Bingo, you nailed it. And remember, Tracy, oh, wrong. That's the wrong thing I want to open here. Tracy being the high C, because as I'm doing my database entry, I want to know when I'm supposed to start these folks. Come on. It's opening. I think I clicked it twice. So I've created a spreadsheet that, hey, these are every 7 days. I do my DTD2 on Tuesdays. Okay. So I know if their last name ends in, if I meet them today, which is, we're December 10th, right? So we're past this. So, and their last name starts with a T, I'm going to look out here and go, all right, the next T starts on February 23rd. So I will set a reminder on their contact, hey, start their DT, D2, T and J on the 23rd of February. So every Tuesday, I'm starting my DT, D2 program. And I'm doing my follow-up calls on that. Why do I do it on Tuesday? Dan, did you cover the 3-call method?
We haven't broken the call method down.
Okay. So the reason I do it on Tuesday is I'm going to do 3 calls. If I don't reach that person on Tuesday, I will leave a message. Okay. Hey, just checking in, whatever, I'll use my notes for my CRM. Hey, how's the wife? How's Karen doing? Just checking in with you. Leave that phone message, that voicemail. The next day, I'm calling them again. I will not leave a voicemail, but they will see that I called. On Friday, I will call a 3rd time, and then I will leave another voicemail. Hey, I was just checking in, seeing how you guys were doing. I appreciate you. Talk to you later. And then I'm done. Now, and then I start my next week. I don't worry about that. But now I've left them 2 voicemails. I've called them 3 times. They see that I called 3 times. It works. And you learn, this is a bold technique. When you guys get through in the next bold class, do bold. They'll give you things like this that'll help you with your business. Any questions? I'm ready to wrap it up, I think. So here's the question I have for everybody. Have I answered or talked about things that we started that you guys had questions in your mind in the beginning?
Oh yeah, it blew my mind.
I may have hyped you up a little bit by saying that this is the best open house class you'll ever be to. So
yeah, thank you, Dan.
Thank you for delivering as always.
So I don't have, my next appointment is actually photography, but I just got a message from my photographer because it's raining. I asked him, hey, should we delay the photography? But I don't have that until 1. I can stay on and show you guys whatever you want in my business. If you're curious about how I do things, I'm willing to open book, show you whatever, or answer any questions that you have about how I do my business. So I'm opening up to anything.
I have a question.
Yep.
I keep hearing about this high D and high C, and I know it's like DISC or something. Is there a website I can go to find out? I'm pretty sure I'm like in between a D and a C, but I don't even know what those mean.
All right. So that's the DISC personality. It's not, is it Briggs-Meyer? I can't remember the name, but if you type in Briggs-Meyer DISC profile, there are a ton of websites out there I've taken this test countless times in different jobs I've had. I've got the test results. I know that in my job, I'm a certain way. In my personal life, I'm slightly different. But your personality traits, and there's a reason you do this, and Aaron Wilson does a great class on this. You have to mirror match. Does anybody know what mirror matching is?
You follow their tone of voice and their speed so you're on their level.
Right. And how they're answering your questions or responding to you. It will give you a clue as their personality. So if you're calling a high D, which is the extreme, they're the ones that are impatient. Give me the information right now. I want it. So when someone calls me, that's me. I'm a high D. When I teach, I'm a high I. I can talk and stuff, especially about stuff that I really know really well, like my open houses and all that. Now I run my business, but I'm a high I there. But in my D, when you're making phone calls, you need to match that person. If they're a high I and they, oh, hey, how's it going? Okay, that's a high I. Okay. If it's yeah. That's a high D. or somebody that's irritated, or high C. Or yeah. So when you're
On a high
doing those
D,
phone
me. When you call me, hey, are you busy? Dumbest question you can ask me. What do you need?
Yeah, exactly. Boom. You know, right? I know Dan is a high D. So I need to get to the point, give him the information that he needs right now, or I think he needs, and ask him very direct questions.
Yeah, but you have to be a chameleon on both
Yes.
sides, because, you know, Dan, you're a D, and that's fine. You don't want to be, you know, bothered. I'm a D too, but you know, you have to change to the people that you're either, you know, guiding, teaching, trying to sell, trying to buy, you know, whatever.
One of the best books you could ever read about understanding and dealing with different types of disc profiles. This is how you, as a DICS or whatever, can handle yourself with others that you can match with at a higher level. Taking Flight. Good book.
Taking Flight.
You can go out to any of those websites, take the test for yourself. So here's what I encourage you to do. Do it in the mornings, first thing in the morning when you're fresh and you're awake. And then as you're doing it, you can take it twice, or this is what I do. I take it twice. I think about, all right, I'm personally, this is my person, take it, and then at work, answer the questions or match those the words up. It's one of those psychological tests. I don't know how they do it, how it works, but it's dead on. I can tell you that right now. I can show you my IDs or my disc profile, and that's my personality. It matches. If it doesn't match, and when you read it, then something that you weren't fresh, you know, something interfered with it. So I would take it again, just so you know where you're at. And it helps you relate. Get that book. Any other questions?
Just did.
Nothing?
Gotta love Amazon.
I got a lot of questions, but I got to absorb all this. I just wanted to say thank you very much. It was amazing and powerful. I got to get off real fast, but I have your contact number, but thank you again very much.
No problem. Reach out. If anybody, seriously, if anybody has any questions or anything, reach out. I'm open book. I will gladly set up a Zoom meeting, and you want to say, hey, how you're doing your accounting, or how you doing this, how you doing that. You want to see how I do all that. I'll share it. I don't care. I want you to succeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's the
Thanks,
earmark
guys.
of our company. We all
What's
want
that?
to succeed. I think that's the earmark of our company. We all want everyone to succeed. So, Tracy, thank you for being a great leader in our company and giving up of your time and of yourself. So thank you so very much. We appreciate everything you do for us. Guys, thank you for hanging out. I love the engagement, love the interaction. We'll see you back tomorrow. Let's do it again, shall we?
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Get your
Thank
contact
you.
card.
It's great.
Remember your 10-10-10s. Have a wonderful day.